turned down he can't hear us, and neither can they.
Okay, I'm just saying.
Hello, everybody. What's up, guys? How's it going?
Hello, everybody. What's up, guys? How's it going?
Hold on, I hear an echo. Hold on. There we go. No more echo. Yeah. I'm just switching over now to video. Hey guys, what's going on, everybody? Hello. I hope everybody's doing well today. Welcome to another TacoCast, and I have here all my wonderful friends. As you know, what do we have here? I can hear, but I can't see. Well, yeah, don't worry. I switched it over now. Okay, so as you know, we have our core group, which is Chadley, Mr. Chadley there with a big epic beard. We have CC Gaming with us, Retro for the first time, and
hey guys,
myself, Spanishdude, and we have two special guests. Right now, one of them is just getting all prepared and everything. He'll join us after, but we have Venge here with us. Wonderful, Venge. How are you, buddy?
I'm doing excellent. Thanks for having me.
Awesome. I'm happy to hear that, my friend. Give me 2 seconds here. I just want to do one thing that's not sounding, and it should be sounding now. There we go. Perfect. Guys, welcome to our TacoCast. Today we are talking about something that we get asked, well, as streamers, I'm assuming everybody here can agree with me. We get asked tons of questions, and the biggest thing is how we started streaming and what can you guys do to be streamers as well. So we figured we'd do this TacoCast and answer some of those questions as best as we can. So I hope you guys are excited as much as we are. You guys, I'm assuming you guys are excited too. Oh, the excitement is real. The excitement is real. And I want to say hello to everybody coming over here to join us today. Hello, Cupcake. How are you? Eponas, how are you? Bala, what's up? Red Rover, what's up? How's it going? SL Flair, how are you? Murphy's Law, what's up? Epic Announcer, thank you for subscribing. Welcome to the Taco Team. Welcome to the family.
Welcome.
It's good to see all of you. I'm happy that you guys are all here. Holy, look at that. 38 people already watching. That's incredible.
Heck yeah.
Okay, guys. So let's go ahead and let's just get this started. I'm really excited. I want to know all your answers. So here's the first question. So here's the first question. Oh, we got another subscriber. Red Rover, thank you for subscribing. Welcome to the Taco Team. Welcome to the family. Right? Okay. What made you want to stream and why? So, Corey, if you want to start it off, what made you want to stream and why?
Okay, so it never really started out as me wanting to stream. It was more of a... It's kind of a long story, but I'll make it abbreviated. It was back when Destiny first came out on PlayStation, Xbox, and everything. The first one, I was playing a ton of it, and I had a group of friends that I always played with. And one guy used to work during the time when I got to play. And at this time, Twitch had just come to the PS4, and so he's like, "Hey, why don't you stream your gameplay and I can see it, and see what's going on." And it just kind of snowballed from there. And that's really the short, of it. I could go on for a long time, but I won't.
What about
like
with doing it? Did you start it just privately, or you just left it open for everybody to watch?
Well, it was open, but only that one person would come watch it because it's Twitch. I mean, no offense to anybody on Twitch, but Twitch is not a curated list like YouTube is. So Twitch, you don't have a whole lot of discoverability if you're just a tiny little channel to start off with.
Yeah, dude, I'm gonna be famous next week. I'm starting Twitch tomorrow.
Absolutely.
I'm gonna be famous next week.
Prove me wrong, Louis. I want you to. But yeah, so it was just, and then over time it just kind of snowballed a little bit here and there,
Yeah, for sure. What about you, Louis?
I actually started, well, you know the story, but I started actually making comedy sketches. I was before streaming, I'll be honest, I didn't like streaming. I thought it was like a big waste. I was like, I want to play the game. I don't want to watch somebody else do it. So I wanted to do reviews because that was my favorite thing to watch. Like I was a big fan of the Happy Console Gamer, Angry Joe, the AVGN, the big guys, right? But I'm a trained actor, so I wanted to make it more like a comedy sketch show. So my whole thing was I wanted to make reviews of games, but then make a whole story around them. So I started making videos, and it wasn't really going anywhere. And Rigo's wife started nagging both of us, like, "Hey, get together. You guys need to go on stream because you guys are way too funny together, and you guys need to do it." And my whole thing was, no, I don't think it's a good idea, and whatever. And then I would take 5 or 6 hours of gameplay and condense it to a 20-minute video. So I was like, if I'm playing for 5 or 6 hours, why don't I just do it on stream and have people watch me as I'm learning about these games instead of having to recreate it later? And then that's how I went live, because I was like, I might as well do it in front of everybody now instead of recording it and putting it up later.
Everybody, please hashtag Paul in the chat for that $2 donation. Thank you very much, Paul. I really appreciate that.
Paul.
Streaming Hall of Fame. I love it.
Thank you, Paul. Thank you.
Mr. Chadley, you never speak in any of our podcasts. Now
I know,
I'm putting you on the spot.
Yeah, I'm going to be required to talk a lot this time. So,
how did you start? Why?
Well, okay. Well, some of these questions tie in together, so I'm going to just keep it short for this one, because some of the other stuff I want to say is for the other questions.
Of course.
But mainly it was because when I started watching you guys, and then I thought, hey, I could do that, and then another part of my channel, as you guys know, I stream with my kids. So that was a big thing for me, was to try to do things with my kids. They like playing games. I like playing games. I was like, so why not try to stream that and create our own little community around that.
Chadley, admit it. You saw us and you're like, they have really weak beards. Ryukar's got nothing on mine. I'm going live.
That's right. That's right. I was like, I'm going to show Ryukar what's up.
And you have, good sir.
And you have.
You're the man.
By the way, guys, Taco Bank is open for those who want to know. I know I can see TP there.
Heck yes.
Okay. Benj, what about you, my friend? What made you start? Well, what made you start streaming, and why?
Let me just get that out of the way first. I'm just a little nervous, but just to get a starting point here, after doing YouTube for about like 3 years prior to streaming, it was like I wanted to do something different. I did quite a few different things beforehand, but I wasn't really sure if that's what, you know, like I wanted to do. It was like, was it what I really wanted, or was there something more? I was kind of searching for answers. Because my goals never really stayed the same. They would kind of fluctuate the one thing to the next to the next. And so after a while, you know, I finally came up with this goal that seemed like a more worthy goal to strive for, which was like to build a more positive community and have fun while doing it.
For sure.
Yeah.
Now your turn. What made you start, and like why?
So well, I started with Louis. We started doing Saturday streams. Yeah, so I couldn't stream full time because at the time I had a bunch of contracts. As most of you know, I'm a subcontractor. So I had a lot of contracts at the time, and I could only do Saturdays. And even on Saturdays, I was always late.
Yeah, we would start at 6. Like I would start my streams at 6, and then, you know, most of the time I go 3 hours on my own. But with him, we'd go till 2 or 3 in the morning.
Till 2 or 3 in the morning. Oh. Yeah. Well, because I was always arriving late, and we had to get that extra in. That's what we started as. And then finally, when everything slowed down and I was able to kind of move all the contracts over, Louis like, you know what, you got to get in this. Like, you're gonna love it. You're gonna start. So that's how I started. Just kind of started with Louis, and then that turned into me going by myself and giving it a try on my own.
Alana used to hang out with us, guys. If you know my channel at all, Alana's always there. Dara, Alana, they're in the chat. She was always there. She would keep me company while we were waiting for my brother, and then she'd fall asleep like 2 hours after he got there.
By the way, guys, all of our links are in the description below, so you can guys go check it out by all means. Okay, so let's go to question 2. Who do you feel influenced you more to keep streaming, and why? So again, let's start with Corey.
Okay, well, I would say it's a pretty easy answer. DGR, Dave. He influenced me to like take it more seriously, I guess. Really, by the time I met Dave, I had been streaming on Twitch for probably almost 3 years. Barely had a schedule, had no followers really at all, no viewers. He's like, hey man, you should try streaming on YouTube. I can raid you. He was like my size back then. He was like less than 2,000 subscribers. Think about that for a minute, by the way. Think about that.
Right?
Just like mind blowing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And once once I was like, let me jump on YouTube, see what this is all about. He raided me, brought me some people. This is when his raids were still epic for his size. I mean, he would bring 50, 60 people still for having less than 2,000 subscribers.
Yeah, no, for sure.
And so like, everything about like what I am today was inspired by him, but a culmination of all of you guys and everybody in the community. But like, really, he is what really did it for me. And he is what really inspired me to take it more seriously and have a lot of fun. I know take it seriously and have fun, but you know what I mean, though. To take the streaming seriously and everything and set up a schedule and just all that, is definitely DGR.
Awesome. Louis?
DGR was the big one for me. He was the one that pushed me over the edge. So basically just a quick rundown of how I got into streaming. Like I said, I hated it. I was actually looking for world record speed runs of Super Mario 1. And Corey, I remember when we were at PAX, you were talking about Darby, which was Blue Television Games, right? I misunderstood because I was like, yeah, he set the world record for Mario. And you looked at me like, what? I thought Darbian. So I was watching his videos, and then the recommended was Ryukar. So I was watching Ryukar play. And I was like, yeah, I like his recorded stuff, but I don't know about the streaming thing. And then the one day I caught him live, and it was actually something that he did with DGR. And then through him, I found DGR and Cat. And then seeing them and their communities, which were smaller, and they had inside jokes, and they were just more like friends rather than a streamer and viewers. That made me think, okay, this is what streaming is about. It's not about watching somebody play a video game. It's about a community. And that's what inspired me. And somebody like Kat, who's, a big jokester, made me enjoy the jokey part of it, like goofing off with people and just making jokes and whatever. And then DGR's super friendly, warm type of community were the two big inspirations that kind of pushed me over the edge to jump in. Ryukar was like okay, streaming is actually a thing. And then those two were like, okay, these two communities are what I want in my community if I ever build one. So those were the two people that really pushed me over the edge to say, okay, I want to do this.
Yeah, for sure. What about you, Mr. Chadley? Me? Oh, yeah, you don't have to.
Me too. Don't worry about it, man. Don't even have to mention
it. No, but who influenced you?
Well, probably you guys. I'm sorry.
Get out of here.
I did.
He's not talking about me. He's talking about you guys.
I mean, you two were maybe the third and fourth streamers that I had come across.
Me and because
that's cool.
Because what got me started with YouTube in general was the fact that when the Switch was coming out, I wanted to find more information about it, and I just happened to see, and most of you probably know C&D. So if you don't know who C&D is, he's like a 20-something kid he had been doing YouTube videos for like a long time, and what he did is that when the Switch came out, 30 days before the Switch came out, he wanted to be sure that he was first in line to get the very first Switch from Reggie or Bowser, whoever was going to be at the store, Yeah. So obviously I got hooked into his vlogs that he was doing because he was doing daily vlogs. And I guess because of that, I started getting recommended to other Nintendo stuff. And I think Jacob might have been the first one that I found. But then because he does Mario Maker and you guys did Mario Maker, that's probably how I met you guys. And then and again, your communities, all that kind of stuff. And it was just like, hey, I could do this and I want to try to do the same thing. So yeah, it was you guys mainly because I've been with Rigo since the very beginning of his channel when he started streaming. And Retro, I forget how big you were at the time when I started.
Yeah, but I think you were there when I was pretty small, like I think less than 500.
Yeah. So I mean, I've been both your channels since almost the beginning. So yeah, I mean, you guys have been a big influence on what I do today with YouTube. So.
Well,
sorry,
thank you for that.
I don't mean to sound biased, but
no problem. But I do remember you mentioning that story when we first started talking. You mentioning that story because you asked me if I had seen that, and I said I hadn't. I just forgot about it until right now.
Yeah.
Just a side note, I kept up with every one of those vlogs as well, Chadley.
Yeah.
I don't feel like so much of a dork now. Just so you know.
I don't follow him much now, but yeah, his vlogs on the whole, I mean, that was a undertaking for sure, and it stressed him out pretty big time.
Oh, I can only imagine.
Yeah, trying to do it every single day, pushing out content every single day was a big strain on him. So.
Well, and it's hard enough to do it under like regular like settings, but when you're actually doing something like that, that's got to be so much pressure.
Yeah.
Benj, what about you? Who influenced you?
There was like two. Like I gotta give a huge shout out to Dino, as in the dinosaur, like Dino. Like Dino influenced me to actually try streaming in general, because like I never attempted it. I had no idea how the heck to do all that stuff. But he just told me straight up, like, dude, just try streaming with the Nintendo community. And he told me how positive they were. And since it fell in line with kind of like the goal that I wanted, you know, I wanted to go for it because it's like the Nintendo community, from what I've seen, is extremely positive, and they want the same thing from the looks of it, which is fun and to maintain a positive environment on top of that. So I mean, if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't have met any of you. So I really got to thank him for that. And Kevin Tendo would be another person that was influential to me, because it was like he had that upbeat personality and did all these things with his music, and he was so caring and warm. What's the word?
We need to get him on here one day.
Yeah, we do.
Awesome too. It's like his charisma is infectious, and it was like it really got me. Like, you know what? I'm just gonna keep going and see what I can do. And then I met you guys after continuing, and it's been a total blessing ever since.
That's awesome.
What about you, Rico?
Well, as you know, it's all obviously thanks to Retro that this even is possible where we are. He's the one who sent me. He forced me to stream.
Oh, guys, you should have seen it. Like, when we were working together, this is not, he can tell you, I'm not lying. We used to work together, and I would leave my station. I'd come up, you have to watch this video, because this video is going to show you what you need to do. Look, this guy says you have to do it this way, so come and do it this way. And he'd be like, I know. I'm like, no, look, you have to do it.
But yeah, so Louis showed me like virtually everything. But the one who made me keep going and never stop, you guys already know. You know who made me keep going. Who's the one person I love more than anything? Come on, say it. Say it.
PewDiePie.
Oh, no.
Have you seen Cat?
Yeah. Kat's the one who influenced me. I found her by accident.
I thought it was Little Man, actually.
Yeah, Snap Click Cat. So she
Snapchat Cat.
Snapchat Cat. So it was during, I was looking at Louis' old one of Louis' streams, and I was going over because he kept telling me you have to go back and watch the streams, make sure you can correct everything. And then all of a sudden this girl popped up on the corner, you know. So I clicked on it, and first thing I get is you know, that scream she does.
That scream she does.
Yeah. So I start watching, and then I'm like, I didn't just say I really like this guy. I said, man, this girl's so hot. Right. So I'm watching.
Is Billy watching this?
Yeah. Right. So I'm watching, and I'm like, I noticed that I liked that people would call my name out when I would subscribe. So I was hoping she would, right? At the time, she never did that. So I clicked on it. She's like, thank you for subscribing. You're officially a homie. I'm like, damn it. Right? Like, damn. So then I kept talking, right? Kept talking. And then she just kind of like, I watched that she did everything and how she was always so positive and she didn't care what anybody would say to her. And, you know, I was already leaning towards that family friendly because unfortunately, you know, with kids, they listen to everything you do and everything you say. So you can't really be not family friendly without them repeating everything. So then I'm like, well, I can't be, you know, naughty or not family friendly like she is, but I can take what she's doing and kind of place it onto my own, try to be that positive type thing. And then from there, it's like, that's where I found DGR. And then Louis has already told me about DGR, but I had no idea who that was. And that's where I saw DGR. And then she was racing Ryucar at the time, right? And then I knew Louis told me about Ryucar and was like, no, Ryucar, you know, Ryucar. And I was like, oh, okay. And then when I saw she was racing, I was like, okay, there's Ryucar, right? So then I realized, well, this is a lot bigger than anything. And then one day I get on and it said, SnapClick Cat has subscribed. Go figure that, eh? Right? How do you like that? But yeah, she was my biggest, but besides Louis, my biggest influence, for sure.
Look at that! I'm just spreading all the influence.
All the influence is spreading.
No.
Okay,
we're gonna need you to clean that up, please.
Right? Okay, so let me get some of these questions out of the way. So Megan said, "What's the biggest negative to streaming?" What's the
My
biggest...
butt hurting.
Oh my lord!
But in all seriousness, that's my biggest struggle on the daily. Is just my butt hurting from sitting here for so long.
I put a pillow on this chair. I had to.
Oh, I had to. My cushion is horrible, right? So I had an old bed, and I bought like a foam to put on my bed. I actually chopped off a big chunk of it and I put it under the cushion, and then I put one on top, so that helps. Now I can sit here for a few more hours, but yeah, that's been my biggest struggle, my butt hurting.
You know,
I think
I can agree to that. Like, I think that's my biggest problem is the seat. I had to finding a good seat. I used to sit on a dining room table.
A wooden one.
A wooden one.
Or a chair.
A chair. Right?
But it was like pure wood, no cushion.
And I just said, that's what I streamed on.
Look at us now with all the fancies.
Right?
I know, right?
Look at fancy.
For me,
I just like don't.
for me though, it wasn't the buns, but it was actually my mouth, because like after a while, your voice gets tired, man. Especially with all this, hey, what's up, guys? How's it going? It's like, wait, now my voice is getting tired, so I'm trying to make it more of a habit to carry water with me every time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But oh my god, like past few streams lately, my voice, I'll be ready to die when I turn on, when I click that off button.
Oh, thank you for subscribing, Electro Gamer. Thank you. Welcome to the Taco Team. Welcome to the family.
Yeah, no, like in all seriousness, one of the biggest downsides I think is just finding time and energy to stay consistent with the stream. That's the biggest downside for me. Is there are times where I'm exhausted, I haven't slept all night, and it's like I gotta be up in 2 hours and sit in front of this computer. Where am I gonna get this energy to go for the next 3 hours? That to me is the biggest struggle when I go to streaming. I can deal with my painful butt, but finding the energy is tough. Hey, nice.
Thank you for subscribing. Welcome to the Taco Team. Welcome to the family. What
I would
about
say
you?
for me,
Yeah.
For me, like I think it's kind of, it ties into like the very last question, but still it's like the burnout and energy, right? It's like I'm just like Louis. I mean, it is so hard some days for me to sit down in front of this. I mean, I love hanging out with everybody here. Like it's never a time like, it's never like that, right? You know, I always love anybody stops in. If I have 5 people watching, I have 1 person watching, I have 60 people watching, it doesn't matter. I love hanging out. I love playing games, obviously, or else I wouldn't be doing this. But there's just days where I cannot be motivated at all. And days when I'm just completely burnt out on the prospect of video games at all.
Yeah.
I think that to me is, and I think that's probably what I'm trying to get to, is the burnout on video games in general. It's a really big negative in my opinion, because I love video games. And I don't play them all day long, every day. I play them a lot of times as time killers, you know? I've got a couple hours to do something and I'm completely free, got nothing going on. I'll pick up a game, I'll play some Octopath or something. But like, sometimes I don't even want to play a video game at all, because I'm just like, all week, I stream for at least 4 days a week, if not 6 to 7 sometimes. I'm like, I don't want to play video games.
Boom. Boom. What about you, Chadley? What would you say? Negative to streaming. Biggest negative to streaming.
For me, I think it's just balance.
Balance. That's a
Because
good one.
of family time, and the fact that making sure that, like, if my kids don't want to do it with me one night,
Yep.
that I'm not forcing them, because we're on a schedule.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
like, yes, we've created this schedule, but I don't want my kids to start to resent me or hate the concept of what we're doing.
Yep.
Because then next thing you know, it's just me, and then the reason for my channel is gone.
Yeah.
Like,
True.
so I think that's like the biggest negative for me, and it's a ongoing struggle, you know, of just trying to have the balance.
Yeah.
Just human nature to, hey, if I get sucked into it, like, it's like tunnel vision, you know. You don't want to fall into that tunnel vision where everything else is just, you have blinders and nothing else matters. Like, so yeah, so I've struggled with that in the past. So
Okay, so
But,
let's answer
yeah.
this one here. Red Rover says, I want to stream, but I don't really know what I need to stream. Okay, what I need to stream. Sorry. Any pointers or suggestions? Now, with the pointers and suggestions, some of these questions are taking care of a lot of that, so we're gonna skip about that. But I want to stream, and I don't really know what I need to stream. So, what you need to stream? Let's answer that. What he would need to stream, seeing as obviously we're not streamers.
We don't know what we're talking about.
So, Louis, you want to go ahead and?
I'm assuming they're talking about like physically what they need to get started,
That's,
right?
Yeah, my assumption
Yeah.
too.
That's
Yeah.
my assumption. Yeah.
Hardware, software.
Yeah, so software-wise, I'm a big fan of OBS. I know some people use XSplit. I don't know anything about XSplit, but I'm a big fan of OBS. Whether you're using OBS Studios or OBS or Streamlabs OBS, you can kind of be split down the middle for that. But most people think you need a webcam. You do not need a webcam. Most people think you need some super fancy microphone. You don't need a super fancy microphone. You can go without a webcam. Chadley started without a webcam, and he had a great following without it.
Yep.
Microphone, you can use something as cheap as one
Fancy
of those.
microphone.
Fancy mic.
You can go with something as cheap as one of those, you know, one-eared Microsoft microphones. It's not needed, but it just makes life a little bit easier to have a microphone. You don't need a capture card, but you need a computer that's powerful enough to at least push the stream out. Because if you can't do it, then it kind of limits things. But if you're really dedicated, you can do. There's one person that I'm subscribed to, and I don't want to call them out just because I don't want them to be embarrassed. They persevered using their cell phone to record, and they were recording their TV, and they did that for a long time. And just today, I actually was checking out one of their streams, and they have a capture card now. But if you really want to do it, do not be limited by thinking, I need a computer, I need this, I need that. Whatever way you can get your stream online, that's all that matters. So in my opinion, just use whatever you can to get online. You don't have to have the best quality. You just have to be enjoyable.
Yeah, that's a big thing. Your personality, or, you know, what you bring as an entertainer, because that's what we are.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
we're entertainers, right? If we're not entertaining, nobody's gonna watch.
Exactly.
So, like, yeah, so I agree with everything that he said. I mean, that's all.
Yeah, that's basically all. Like
Perfect.
one of the biggest things is, you guys can't go into this thinking, okay, I'm logging on, I'm gonna have 27 people watching me, because it doesn't happen overnight. Like you don't get on and you have 27, 36, 85 people watching you. I know when I jumped on the first time, I had one, and that one was me, because I was watching my
That's how
own
it was for
stream.
me too.
You know,
Yeah.
that's how it is. That's how we all start. So I mean, you can't go in thinking that way. You also cannot. The biggest thing, you can't go in thinking, okay, I'm gonna make tons of money, because it doesn't work like that, guys.
Wait, it doesn't? I've been doing something wrong, because where are
I'm
these
rolling
checks
in
coming
cash.
from? Listen, y'all, I just got paid, a couple weeks ago from Nintendo, and let me just tell y'all about this whopping 7 cents I got.
Dude,
Boom.
dude, I've only ever made 4, all right? So you're like rolling in that cash.
I got 2 cents. I got 2 cents. Don't even go there. But yeah, you can't. I don't know what you're talking about, Rigo. But yeah, no, it's true. You cannot go in thinking, because I see that all the time. People come in, they're like, oh, I need my sponsor because I need to make the dough. And no, guys, it's not how it works. And you shouldn't think that way, because if you're thinking that way, you're not gonna be able to, what's the word? I guess persevere. or
Mhm.
yeah,
Give up faster.
yeah, you're gonna
Yeah,
you're gonna
and-
give up way too fast thinking that way, and you should really just be having fun. That's how I
Yeah.
look at this. This is a hobby. This is fun time for me. I do this to make you guys happy, to enjoy the community. Well, as you can see, we're all friends here. We're all just having fun, you know.
Yeah, and even going off of that, like not assuming you're gonna make money, not assuming all this, don't assume you're gonna have the best quality. Like I have a lot of lighting, and it's because I did photography for 10 years, so I had a bunch of lights lying around. I wouldn't have started with any of this, or like a green screen. A lot of people start thinking that they need a green screen right away, and they need to spend $300 on one of the Razer ones, and it's like that's not what you need. You don't need any of that stuff. Like don't start assuming you need to be,
Some green fabric.
yeah. Like
Yeah.
the one I have is something that was donated to me. Yeah, he was an old photographer friend of mine, and he's like, yeah, I'm gonna give this all up. He's like, I'm gonna buy everything brand new. If you
I
want a green
agree.
screen, take it.
You
And I was
just
like,
have to be
I didn't know what I
yourself,
needed it for
grin.
at the time, because this was like 5 years before I ever started streaming. But I was like, hey, I need this, and I kept it. And then one day I pulled it out of my closet, and I was like, I could actually use this. But you can't be assuming that you're gonna make money, that you're gonna be famous, that you need to have the best quality possible, the best capture card, the best computer. All of that, all it's gonna do is sink you in a hole that you're going to beat yourself up over, because you're going to invest a bunch of money into something that you may not end up liking in the long run. Because seeing streamers have fun, there are times, and I'll be completely honest, there are times where I finish streaming and I message my girlfriend and I'm like, I am miserable today. Today was not a good day. She goes, you couldn't tell on stream at all. And it's like, those are the moments where you go, do I really want to do this?
Yeah.
So that's more important than thinking about what do you physically need to get started. Just start with whatever you want. Just don't go in thinking of how it's going to be, because you're going to be very shocked.
Exactly. By the way, guys, please everybody hashtag SOTPC who donated $5. Right as we're talking about, they're not gonna make money. All right, let's go on to the next question. The last question from SL Flair. He says, "How do you all know each other? How do we know each other?"
Well,
I
Spanishdude and me came out of the same vagina.
Oh my gosh! Wow.
I'm being technical. I'm just being
Not lying. I mean,
That's the truth.
Stating the truth right
Yep.
there.
I know.
I said a little bit friendlier, but
Hey, it's friendly. It's anatomically correct. I didn't say any dirty
been.
words.
We're gonna learn it in health class, anyway.
Right? So, I know Chadley from coming to Louis' streams, and obviously when I started streaming, he was coming to mine. So we became great friends after that. Corey, I know from DGR stream, right? So that's
it all
how
goes back to PR in the end.
it does. It always does. And
It
Venge,
does.
I know Venge from Chadley's stream, from all the raids and always seeing him. So that's how I knew everybody.
Yeah,
We're
I met
all
Corey
wearing
at
glasses.
PAX. I met Corey. Hey, we are.
Yep.
I met Corey at PAX. I actually didn't know who he was. I had seen him around,
You
but
know
I
what's
didn't
really-
know who he was.
That's upsetting to me, by the way, Louis, because I've been speaking for a long time since the wait from Dave way back in the day. I'm just
Yeah, but you didn't talk in my chat,
I
so
didn't. I only
Yeah.
started coming back around your chat whenever Armin and Shelby, whoever it was Armin and somebody who were trying to make mod commands, and they were messaging me for help, and so I was like, let me come in and hang out, and at least,
yeah, it must have been them too. It must have been them too, because they've done like half the commands in my channel. But we met at PAX, and I
Yeah.
instantly liked him. Instantly thought he was an awesome dude. Chadley just started coming around the chat, so I do remember you popping in a lot and just being very, I don't know, interactive, just interesting. Like you weren't just somebody talking without really having anything to say. You were always really interesting in what you had to say. And then Venge, I just met like 10 minutes before the stream.
Boom.
So in short, it's all about networking, guys.
That's it.
Yeah,
Absolutely,
it's
yeah.
true.
That's it.
It is,
Cannot stress that enough.
right? All
Yeah.
right. You want to go ahead, Chadley? You want to tell everybody how you met us, or?
Well, the two. Well, I met you. Well, I met Rigo from his stream. Well, actually from Louis' stream. And I met Louis from his stream because I think Louis, I came across Louis from a recommendation, so it wasn't from a raid or anything like that.
Mhm.
Corey was from a raid. I don't remember exactly which raid it was, but and then Venge was from another raid as well. Actually, it might have been my own raid because it might have been just someone that recommended him that just knew Venge, and ever since I've loved Venge's channels. I mean, it's the same for everybody here. So yeah, I mean, I'm really close friends with all you guys now. Yeah, I wouldn't want to change it for anything. So you guys are awesome.
You see what rating does, ladies and gentlemen?
Yeah, rating is amazing.
When you do it right,
Yeah,
you meet
great.
a lot of awesome people. Yes, there are occasions when you raid and people frown upon it.
Yep.
Yeah, they frown upon it,
And they ban us all.
yes. But again, there's two sides of YouTube. There's the side of people that really don't care for raids, and then there's the side that understand that if you do a raid correctly, that it's meant to help the community grow for both sides.
Exactly.
Not just for me. It's not just for me. I'm not raiding to advertise. I'm raiding to have my viewers get to know who my friends are on YouTube.
Absolutely.
I don't raid random people that often because I have so many now of friends that I can raid at stream around the same time I do.
Yeah.
That, and I know that my viewers don't know everyone. So I'm like, hey, if you want to find someone else that's just as cool as me, then there you go. You know?
Yep.
Going a little bit back, we talked about the worst part of streaming. After we finish this, we should talk about the best part of streaming, not just be the negative.
Yeah, no, don't worry. Yeah, I think, do I have it here on the question list?
No, it's not in the question.
Okay, but we will talk about
That's
that.
why I was bringing it up. Yeah.
Okay. So let's go to the next question. So
Wait, did you ask Venge how we met everybody?
no, I didn't. Sorry.
Man, it is like it is. You know what? That is such a tough thing to say because of the fact that stuff happens so fast, and then it's like it's funny
Rude.
how you'll have like one person, right?
Yeah.
From your stream, and they'll recommend you, and then you bounce off of that person, and it's like every person. It almost feels like after a while, it almost feels as though the world is becoming smaller and smaller because of that. And it's like, because I can't honestly know exactly where the change started. That's where I'm coming from with this.
Yeah.
It probably could have been Chadley, maybe through Chadley that I met Spanishdude, and somehow another. It was probably Chadley. If I was to say anything, if I was the guess, I would guess that I met each and every person here through Chadley.
Chadley's the one opening the doors.
He's
I feel like I met you
doors.
through Ferran.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, maybe.
Yeah. Ferran knew Venge for a while too.
I feel like you rated him or you popped in or something, and that's like where I met you for one of the first times. I've seen you everywhere too, so it's again, it goes back to the networking thing, right? Everybody is in everyone's streams all the time. You can't go to any one of our streams or several of the, in this community and not see 5 to 10 other streamers that you know pretty well. I mean, like not just in passing, but like pretty well.
Yeah.
That's been my experience, in the last year.
No, for sure. I agree with you. Okay. So next question. Did you have content before starting streaming? And if so, what was it? Ooh, there we go.
So, I mean, I guess I'll start. Mine's pretty short and easy. I did a little bit. I had a teeny tiny little, and it was my content from like, if you even call it content, right? It was, I would clip something, record it. I thought it was funny. It was cool. Throw it up on YouTube, get 4 views. It's gone. It's just whatever. Nobody even cares anymore. That was, I probably had 10 videos up on YouTube before I started streaming. Before I started streaming on Twitch, where then I would export them to YouTube after. But I mean, not really, just a little teeny bit. So yeah.
What about you, Louis?
Yeah, I did. So originally I actually had a totally different channel where my brother and I were in a band together. We played for many, many, many years, and our band performances would go on there, kind of like propaganda and whatever. But as far as gaming goes, I was doing video game reviews. Like I said at the beginning, and they were more like sketch comedy reviews where I would review the game, but then my brother would play like this useless character, this character who always tried to help and just made things worse. And I was trying to do a serious review channel, and he was always trying to help, but it just made things, dumb. But that was like kind of the spiel we had, right? Because it's like I can't be serious and be the comedian at the same time, so I needed somebody to bounce off of, and that was the content that I had for a long time before I ever even thought about streaming.
What about you, Chadley? You?
So the only thing I can think of, I didn't really do a lot of content before I started streaming. That's where I started, and for like one video that I did with my daughter, before I started doing streaming and stuff, I was trying to challenge myself to get back into illustration.
Okay.
So, and some of you guys have seen my drawings that I did during that challenge. And I lasted for about 35 days or so. And what I wanted to do was do something with my daughter. She was getting interested in doing video production, editing, all that kind of stuff. And I thought it would be neat for me and her to create videos, post them on YouTube, because she's also a very good drawer, illustrator. And we were going to do stuff with our drawings and showcase them, possibly through that meet other people that were good into illustrating and possibly create a community that way. It never took off, but that, I guess, would be my first try at YouTube. So we made our introduction video, and that's as far as it went. So
And you, Benj?
I did, definitely. It first ranged from random stuff to anime, fighting game content in that exact order. And I just didn't know what I wanted at that time. Like, the content was very different from what I do now. I guess for me personally, I was just like tired of trying to figure out how to fit in with other communities by changing who I am and doing things that is like the norm in other communities. And I wanted to do something that represents me in the fairest way possible, like the real me, instead of some phony Venge somewhere
character.
Yeah, for sure.
What about you, Rigo?
I did. I used to do before streaming, I used to do tech review. So I had anything I would buy. So for example, if I would build a new computer, I would show off all the components to it and review each one and let you guys know what specs and all that jazz, whether it's worth it or not. I used to do laptops that would go with stereo systems for cars, and that would go into also audio systems for your home theater. But I had to stop because it gets expensive, especially that it was coming out of my pocket. And not to mention, I just can't go out and buy another video card and be like, here you go, here's another video card I bought. I don't need it. I don't know why I have it, and it just got really hard. And then I started merging off and looking for, if my brother-in-law bought something, I would grab it and be like, let me review it. And then I would show it off. And that's how I started with that stuff. And then I left it for a little bit, kind of just let it sit there. And then I decided maybe I'll do some news too. Then I started doing news with gameplay footage, right? Like some people do. So then I did that a little bit. And then that's how I started. Then when Louis introduced me to streaming, that's how I started going into streaming. And yeah, that's how we went from there.
Nice.
So
he doesn't give Nelly enough credit, because Nelly was big on us going into streaming. Like she swore up and down that we needed to stream.
I believe it.
It was a must.
She
that we
begs
had
for
to
him to
stream
stream half the time.
for sure.
Oh, wow.
No, for sure.
She really does.
Okay. Let's go. Okay. You guys want to know that one? I'm gonna skip ahead and go question 6. If you guys have your questionnaires open, how do you deal with trolls and rude viewers?
Oy.
There it is. There it is. How do you deal? Because I just saw the question somebody asked, so I might as well go ahead and let's do it.
Okay.
So
right.
I'd like to start.
Of course, Corey, you're gonna start.
I'm sure we've all had our fair share of trolls.
I've never had a troll. Everybody
Never.
loves me.
What troll? What's a troll?
My channel is the best.
Let me
Nobody
just go
hates
make
it.
some alt accounts real quick and I'll show you. So I haven't had a ton of time with trolls, but I have. The experiences that I have had have been fairly upsetting. I try my best not to let them get to me, right? But I had like my very first big troll was I don't know if any of y'all have heard or been around my stream when it happened, when it was or when King Shy Guy comes around.
Oh,
No, I don't know.
King Shy Guy comes in, he starts this little spiel of, he's like, hey, what's a sponsor? And so we start talking about what sponsor is. What's a moderator? Okay, we start talking about what a moderator is. Then he starts getting it all confused. And then he starts asking, for me to pick him to be a sponsor and blah, blah, and if he could pay to be a moderator. Okay, so it kind of goes on. And then he starts just getting stupid, and he's like, I could learn a language before you could explain this. And he ended up getting banned just for being plain annoying, right?
Yeah.
Then he comes back with about 15 more accounts that night.
Oh.
Every one of them starts off with, I could learn a language.
Oh.
I'm like, you're an idiot now because I know it's you. And you're getting banned. I don't like to insta-ban, but when this guy comes around, he still comes around to this day, and he'll say hi and talk for a minute, and then he'll be like, I could learn a language, ... And I'm like, why would you even go that route? Because it doesn't offend me anymore. It doesn't bother me.
Yeah.
It just means you're getting banned. You're being removed. So anyways, long story short is I try my best not to be, like bothered by them as much, and I just kind of let my mods handle it, right? And they just kind of do their own thing and get rid of people for me pretty quickly when they're being unnecessarily rude.
Yeah.
But they get really stressed. They do stress me out even if I don't show it.
No, for sure.
They do. But it's been pretty good lately. But I'm gonna wrap this one up. But I just want. Last Friday.
Oh, there we go.
What happened? What I missed?
You cut out real quick.
Oh, am I back? We're good?
Yeah,
You're
back.
good.
Yeah.
Okay. So last Friday, I had these guys they came into my Mario Kart and were stopping and hitting me with stars and hitting me with, and they'd stop right in front of the finish line and hit me with something. They would purposely not get a good place, just do this, and it went on all night.
Oh.
It was so disheartening. It wasn't even about me losing. It was just like, why are you doing this with your time?
Yeah, just grieving you.
I just kind of let that go, though. I mean, I was very upset by it and talking about it, but I kind of just let it go. It's like, you know what? I can't ban them from the game. It doesn't work that way. They weren't coming in and being disrespectful in chat. They were just being jerks.
Yeah. Yep.
But
What about you,
so anyways,
It's tough. Trolls are hard to deal with because they can get to you. They can really get to you, depending on what they say. I get frustrated, but not in the sense of like, oh my god, you're so annoying. It's more of the, why are you wasting your time and our time when like all they come in and just pop in and go, F you, and it's like, be creative. I say it all the time on my stream. Do something creative.
right?
Rigo, what's that guy that you like that has the 40,000 subs? That you follow.
Are you talking about Obi-Wan?
Yes, Obi-Wan. My best troll that I ever had, when I've said it on stream before, I had a guy create an Obi-Wan account with the picture and the banner and everything, and popped into my chat and was talking, and I knew who they were, and I got all excited. I had less than 500 subs at the time, and I'm all excited. I've got like 30 people watching me, and this guy pops on, and then somebody's like, it's fake. He's only got one sub, and it's like, that's a good troll. You got me. That's a good one there. Yeah. So it's like, okay, you actually tried, right? And you got me. To me, it's just, why are you wasting your life and our time by just coming in and saying F you? It's not funny. It's not creative. It's not intelligent.
Yeah.
How about Taco Death?
Yeah.
Oh.
But at the same time,
don't get me started.
but at the same time, it's so hard not to let it get to you, because it's like you're all having a good time and somebody comes in and just says something racist or something, just something really mean, and it's like, how do you not let that get to you? And that's one of the things you have to learn over time, is to just kind of ignore it. At first, I used to get really upset about it, especially when I was really family friendly. Now it's just more of a, at least get creative, dude. At least be smart when you do something mean.
Yeah.
But it's harder when I'm doing something where I can't moderate my own chat, and then my moderators aren't available at the time, and then it's like, I gotta stop what I'm doing just to deal with it.
Yeah.
Everyone, hashtag epic potato in the
learn
chat.
a language.
That's so good.
It's King Shy Guy. He's
That's a good one. But yeah, it can be frustrating. It can be frustrating. You have to learn to just kind of let it go. That's the main thing with dealing with trolls is ignoring them. I had one guy in particular for about a month and a half. He made it his goal that within 5 minutes I had to have more than 15 dislikes on my channel.
Oh, I had that problem too.
Yeah, so I'd go live and then instantly 15 dislikes, 1 like, and
He was being nice for the 1 like.
yeah. And to me, what I actually found more frustrating wasn't the troll doing that, because it's like, okay, whatever, you're interacting with the channel, I don't care. It was the people who would actually fixate on that, and the whole chat became, why would they dislike you? I don't know why they disliked you. And it's like, just drop it. It's okay. It doesn't matter.
That's a problem I have too. And when you see 1 dislike, even 1 dislike, and people start talking about it, I'm like, just drop it. Like,
just drop it. Leave it alone. Yeah.
There's 60 likes. The 1 dislike, not a big deal.
Yep. Chadley, what about you, buddy?
So yeah, I have a unique perspective on troll because of the fact that I have my kids involved. Because most of the trolling that happens is when my kids are with me, and that's because they want to see they want to try to get the most reaction out of you.
Yep.
And no, I've had troll situations with me being by myself, and obviously we mentioned the biggest one already, because Taco Death probably has 20 some accounts, and I've probably banned every single one.
Way more than 20 something.
Okay.
I banned over 50 in that extreme one night.
Wow.
Holy jeez.
Wow. Okay. Well, anyway, yeah, he kept calling me the white guy. He wouldn't call me by Chadley. He wouldn't be calling me by like. Okay, I'm like,
white guy.
Yeah, I'm like, yep, I know I'm white. Thanks.
Wait, you're white?
Know. More like
I didn't get tell.
More like pasty white, yes. But like I just told the guy, I'm like, you don't have to call me that, like whatever, and he would keep doing it. And then when I had Ava on as well, he started calling her white girl. So I was like, okay, dude, that's enough. You're done.
Yep.
And of course he would just keep coming back. But the problem I had was he would keep trolling me in other people's streams too. I would go to Rigo's stream because he was in Rigo's stream, and I would get upset at the fact that, and Rigo got upset about this too, where he would be totally civil with Rigo. He'd be totally fine with Rigo, like cool with him. As soon as I pop in, I say hi. He goes, "Hey, what's up, white guy?" I'm like, "Really? Come on now." And then Rigo
I was actually just talking to Megan about this situation the other day with Rigo involved, like with this conversation and everything.
Yeah, so Rigo ends up insta-banning him and tells his mods, look, if he keeps popping in, just insta-ban him, because we don't want that kind of stuff around here. And yeah, so like the kids is the big thing for me.
Yeah.
Is that, and the other thing we had, which is very, very hard to control, is when you do Mario Kart and you got people that try to troll you in Mario Kart, you can't kick them.
You can't. Yeah.
And the one time that I had that got my daughter very, very upset was the person kept creating these other me characters with custom names that were directed towards my daughter. And they were not family friendly at all. She was getting very upset about it, and like I almost had to end the stream because of it. And like that is out of your control. Like you can't do anything about it. Yeah. And we did finally track down the person that was in my friends list that was doing it. We were able to get rid of it, but and thanks to Mario for that, because I don't know if he's in the chat right now, but Mario was the one that kind of did some detective work and determined who it was. Nice. And that was the only way we figured out how to get rid of him. Ever since then, we haven't had any issues, but hey, Mario. So yeah, like my kids are like, trolls will come when my kids are there. Yeah. So
that's a shame too.
It is a shame.
Yeah, I mean, I've talked about it with my brother. It's got to be so hard for you having a teenage daughter and some of the horrible people that are on the internet.
Yeah.
And having a family-friendly channel and having to not let it get to you so they don't win, but at the same time protecting your channel and your family. And my hat goes off to you, man. My hat goes off to you for that.
Yeah, I don't mind.
People make fun of me, it's not a big deal, but I can't even imagine.
Yeah,
I feel the same way. Like, if people want to say stuff about me, that's fine. My mods know that they got my back. Like, if somebody says something, I may not even see it in time because they're like that quick to just get rid of it.
Yeah.
But And I don't try to let it bother me either, because like you said, if someone says something to me, I'm like, you didn't really put much effort into that. Sorry,
Yeah.
boom, you're gone.
Right.
Yeah,
Like, it's a click of a button for me. So
Mhm.
I don't know. It's
Mhm.
but then I had a guy come in, which was actually a good story about a troll. This guy comes into my chat. He goes, "My friend told me to come in here and troll, but I watched you for a little bit and I kind of like you, so I'm not going to." So things like that can happen
There you
too.
go.
Yeah.
I had a
Yep.
similar
Where-
experience where somebody would come in and kind of very lightly troll a little bit, and it was
Mhm.
getting a little frustrating. But then he kind of stuck around and didn't ban him because it wasn't. He just, whatever. And then 2 or 3 streams later, he's like, I used to come in here and troll you, but I actually really like your streams, so I'm not gonna do that anymore. I don't remember his name. I don't remember, but for a while he was there and like would hang out at every stream and be really supportive and really cool. After that, he's just like, whatever, I'm cool, I like you.
Yep. What about you, Venge? How do you deal with trolls?
Well, first off, Forest God drop. But besides that, I've been through what Charlie been through with the black guy thing. Mods handled that. I guess.
What?
So, I don't know.
He's right behind you.
So it's like for me, that's kind of when I first started. That was a bit of an issue, like the thing that some people would advise me on was like try not to have long-winded discussions with them because I take things to heart, especially when I first started. But now it kind of like I improved on that. I'll give a quick warning, and then if it continues, time out. Then for Asgard, drop the ban hammer if it continues. But it's like that's something, when someone just comes in and just they come in with the most extremely offensive message imaginable. I'll just ban them on the spot, even if my mods could take care of it. I just drop that ban hammer so fast.
Yep.
Especially if my mods aren't there. But it's like for me, I have to do my best to try to stay calm because I can be a very reactive person. And what I usually do, depending on how severe the behavior is, sometimes I have to take a moment to literally talk and stop and talk about why certain rude things just shouldn't be done. Because for me, it's like maybe some people may not understand why I did what I did, or some people may be too young to even understand the importance of doing those things.
Yep.
And what to do and what not to do. Like the one time I banned a person for trying to get me to read messages that turned out to be vulgar when you read them.
Or their names.
Yeah,
One
read
with
my
those names.
Right.
I have one that I won't say in public because of the family friendliness, but it's 3 words and it's just not okay. But she's a super nice person. I just never read her whole name out loud.
Oh, I know who you're talking
had
about. I
one
think
like
I know
that.
who you're talking about.
Does her first name start with Black?
Yep. Yep.
Oh,
I have her too. I love her, but my God, her name.
Oh, I know who you're talking about. She's not on mine, but I've seen her around. Yeah. Now, going off of this, because we've all mentioned it, what about moderators? How do you pick moderators for your channel? Because we always get those questions, right?
Yeah.
So once you're done answering about your thing,
That's a good question.
it goes perfect with it, right?
Yeah.
It's like we've all said we rely on
Cool.
our moderators. So
What was I gonna say?
that's dope.
For myself,
oh.
for trolls, what was I gonna say? First they used to get to
Feed
me.
them tacos.
They used to get to me because they would attack my weight, and I'm very self-conscious about my weight, right? So that's what they started doing. But then after having conversation with everybody, and then I learned from my good friend Epic Potato that sometimes if you just play it off, it angers them more than it angers you, right? So just giving them the satisfaction. So then whenever they came in, I've had like everything. I'm like, oh, you have Phil Collins' haircut. Oh, look at those big cheeks. And I'm like, "Aw, you love my big," and they get mad because they're like, "What? Oh, what the heck?" And they're like, "Dislike." Okay. Oh, you gave me a dislike. They don't like that. They hate that. So that's how I've learned to play it off. But usually, my mods are really good. They're just like, as soon as they see, "Hey, you're so fat," it's like they don't even have a chance to come on the chat because it's already gone. You know. And same thing with as soon as a bad word comes on, it's a ban. I don't even care if you did it by accident.
Have you ever gotten the hairline? And I'm not picking on you, but I get a guy that comes in and talks about my hairline. Talks about like my hairline. And I'm like, okay, it's not perfect, don't get me wrong, but is it really something to come in and troll me about?
Yeah. No, I've never had that.
Chadley's white guy. I get called white guy very often for some reason. Look at the white guy. I'm like, really?
Did you guys get hit with this?
You look behind you and you see me standing beside you.
So let me ask you this: have you guys got hit with this? Because
Yes.
like I literally got on this dude really hard about this. Like there was this one dude a few months ago would literally use the super chat to say negative crap, and I was like, you know what? First time, I was like, you know what, dude? Like,
Michael,
that's
learn
not
a
what we do
language
here,
before
right?
you
So he
let
said,
this
"Oh, I'm sorry, I
donation."
won't do it again." Now he thought I would forget. 2 days later, this dude comes back with a hidden message, like, watch he read it and get caught. And then I was like, all right, dude, all right, you're violating what my streams stand for, because I'm not reading that. So, you know what? Since I don't want your money or your time if you're going to keep doing junk like that. So I just banned his butt on the spot. That was...
I've never had that issue, but I've heard.
Personally had that,
Yeah.
but I've been. You know who gets that? DGR.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
Oh,
all the
yes.
time.
I've had it happen a couple of times where they've said like, you know, something racist or something horrible in the message, and before I had the voice thing, I would just respond with, "Well, thanks for your money. I mean, you gave me money. I'm not going to read it. I'm not going to say it out loud. So thanks for your money." And then they get banned.
What was I gonna say? So about going on to your, how do you pick your mods, Corey? How do you pick your mods?
Can I have your mod? Can I have your mod, Corey?
Can I have your
First of all, Megan says she's interested to hear my answer on this because she became a mod. The whole thing is, first of all, I wasn't going to make her a mod only because I didn't want her to have that responsibility. Just because she's my lady does not mean that she has to be a mod. Mm-hmm. Being somebody that she has never really been much into streams and stuff like that. Don't you make fun of me like... I just look at Ben's the way he's looking at me. But she kept getting timed out by YouTube itself for talking too much. So I had to, right? You know, I was like, let me just make her a mod. And she's turned out to be a really good mod, very helpful. She's always at my streams, every single stream, which not knocking on anybody, but it's hard for people to do that. So like, I know sometimes you don't have mods and all around, so she's always there. She's turned out to be a really good mod. Anyways, but typically how I pick my mods is kind of a couple criteria. Like one, if you're a streamer already, like if you're not just any streamer, but you're like a half experienced streamer at all, you have a shot at being a mod, you know, because I can trust you, I know. And half the time it's like, oh, I don't have any mods here. Okay, you know you're a mod because you know what you're doing and you're helping me and you're here. That or like just good friends that I know, people that I've gotten to know through YouTube or whatever, real life, anything like that. And they hang around and they understand the ideals and what we do around here generally on YouTube and in my channel, you know, and they understand my rules. So it's kind of those two things mainly. Like if you're a streamer and if you are somebody I know that I can trust already, regardless, what does that look for, bitch? I can't even be serious. You're like,
I agree 100%.
Okay, but that was my long-winded answer.
Yes.
What about you, Louis? How do you choose your mods?
Yeah, for me, it's being a moderator is a pain in the butt. Like it's a lot of people come in and they're like, "Can I be a mod?" And it's like it's not a privilege. It's actually a pain in the butt.
Thank you.
Because you've got to read the chat, you got to pay attention, and then you got to deal with the streamer when you don't do your job. Because there's been a couple of times where I've gotten upset at my mods because it's like something really blatant happens, and they're not paying attention, and it's like it's not their fault. They've got lives.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like I'm relying on you guys, right? So it's a bit of a pain in the butt to be a moderator. So I actually enjoy when I'm not moderator in people's channels.
Yep.
But it's all about, you have to be at the channel on a regular basis, so you know what we accept, what we don't accept, and how we work. I have to know that I can trust you, so I have to know your personality fits with mine. So whatever you do, I'm just gonna go, yeah, my moderator did that, I stand behind it. And if I don't agree with it, then I'll turn around and message them later and be like, hey guys, this isn't cool, which I've never had to do yet because I'm very picky. And the last step and the last step is don't ask me, because if you're asking me, it's like you're probably just looking for the badge. You're not really there because you're interested in being the moderator. The last like 8 mods I've picked have been people that I just picked on my own, where they didn't ask me, they never ever mentioned it. It was just, you guys are here consistently and you guys are constantly greeting people and answering questions when they ask without me asking anybody to answer. You guys are clearly caring about the channel, so you're on.
I was just like, la la la. One day it was like, bam, here's a wrench. I was like, whoa, when did that get there? That's how it was in everyone's stream. I was like, whoa, when did that get there?
Well, with you, it's just that I clicked so well with you when I met you, and I'd seen your channel, and I was like, I know he runs it very similarly to mine. So there's just no way that I can't trust you. I don't have that feeling of, no, he's gonna end up burning me in the end. It's like, no, I know Corey's gonna be a good guy about this, so here you go.
Yep. Chadley, what about you, buddy? How do you choose your mods?
It's kind of evolved, actually. Like when I started out, obviously we all start out with very few viewers.
Yeah.
So, and a lot of times you get trolled because of it.
Yeah.
Like it's an easy target when you see somebody that's streaming and they only have 2 or 3 viewers at the beginning, and it's easy for someone to come in and say, why are you doing this, blah 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 blah, and just giving you hate talk because they see you. And I'm like, okay, yes, I'm a 38-year-old man playing video games, streaming with maybe 2 people. Like, they're gonna come in and say, you're a loser, blah 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 blah, and that's happened, you know. But so obviously, like, I'm in need of mods at the very beginning. Usually, if those are the 2 people that come to my stream all the time, guess what? They're supporting me, so they're going to become mods. But over time, now that my channel has grown to where it is now, I'm kind of in the same boat as you guys. Like, I have a lot of streamers that come to my streams now.
Yep. They
know what's expected for a family-friendly stream. Regardless if their stream is not family-friendly, whatever. Like, they know what's expected just because they have that experience.
Yep.
So it technically, like, for me, it feels like streamers are the best mods. But like you guys said, they may not want that responsibility, so I'm not just going to assume that they're going to do it, you know.
Yep.
Maybe they don't want to. Maybe they want to come to my streams because, for whatever reason, like, they're just there to chill or whatever. So I always ask first. And sometimes if there's issues, like I've had issues where we are getting trolled, I have no mods in the chat, and there's a streamer in there who will direct message me in Discord and say, hey, you're having these issues, I don't mind helping you out. And that's a different way of handling becoming a mod. They're not just asking you like, hey, can I be a mod? Like, they're actually saying, hey, you're having issues, I want to help.
Yep.
And they're going about it the right way.
That's kind of similar to how I became a mod in one person's channel one day. They were having, I was like the only one online in their server in Discord, or one of the few people, and somebody came in and was kind of starting some trouble, and so like I messaged that person. I was like, hey, you're having some issues in your Discord. I wasn't even like, I'm gonna help or anything. I was just kind of like joking with him. I was like, you know, I don't have any power here, and then next thing you know, he goes, okay, well, you do now. And I was like, well, okay then.
There it is. Benj, what about you, buddy? How do you choose your mods?
Whew, it took me a while to figure out how to set all that up, because that was too much work, let me tell you. Like, can I be mod? Can I be mod? Can I be mod? Can
just
you
say
not?
yes to everyone.
I know, right? So
you can be admin too.
So,
Here's my password to my PayPal as long as we're going with all this.
oh God, no. But
Just be
like,
nice.
yeah, exactly. I kind of like piggyback off of what you guys are saying. What I usually do when it comes to the whole mod thing, since I do put the rules like in the description section, because people don't always read it. But when it comes to mod, and I tell them, hey, read those rules, you follow those rules consistently, and you do not ask, then you never know. Because I usually tell them, like, look, this is not. If you get this, this is more than just the title. Because, like you guys said, some people treat it as a badge, and so I just tell them, hey, you follow those rules, and I observe you for about a good 2 to 3 weeks, then you'll probably be surprised next stream. You just never know. So just keep up the positive vibes, and you never know, you know.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I have before it used to be I would mod whoever was coming to my channel. I didn't care about their age. Now it's become where I find out what their age are. Most of my mods are 18 plus. There is no one younger than that. We had 2 younger ones, and both of them were actually banned and unmodded for being dumb, I guess you can say. You know,
yeah.
But all my mods, as you can see here, like you look at the chat right now, it's all blue. But if you see, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
We got
6.
Bala in here.
Yeah, we have like 6.
Bala.
Yeah, we have like 6 streamers, and I usually do a lot of the streamers. Like you guys come in, if I know you're a big streamer, I'll mod you. But it's not for you to be helping me on my channel. It's for me to know you're a streamer, so you're a mod, right? But mainly, yeah, it's 18 plus for me. You have to follow the rules, just like you guys, you know, follow the rules, support me, you know, and you're answering questions, and you're trying your best to make sure the channel is succeeding. Then I'm gonna make you mod. Simple as that, you know. But if you're gonna be asking me to be mod, yeah, you're not gonna get mod. Actually, funny story about that. That's only worked once for me, and I went to CC Gaming and I said, "Hey, Corey, can I be mod?" And he was like, "Yes, yes, you can."
But it's also true that I was mod him, but he just happened to ask, and it worked. It was great.
But
I think everyone else in the chat was super mad. I think
I do, you know, I've been supporting. I support a lot of streamers. I try to go to everybody's stream, you know, even if it's 5 minutes. One of the ones I support a lot because I love them so much is Epic Potato Chip. I want to be mod Epic Potato Chip. What the heck? No, I'm just kidding. No, but yeah, no, that's what I do. Like I see. Oh, if I see a streamer and I see them, they're always coming here, and I'm getting rated by them. I'm gonna mod them, not because I expect them to watch my channel. I expect them. It's for me to be able to. I know. Okay. Oh, look, it's another streamer. Boom. You know. That's why you'll see a lot of blue on my channel. But I have like 3 or 4 actual consistent mods that are always there for me and that have been there for me.
To be more.
That's okay. that are actually there for me that I depend on, and I have an actual room that I think it consists of like 10 mods that I personally ask for opinions and personally ask for help. They know who they are, and that's our meeting. So I tell them, hey, look, this is happening. What do you guys think? And then they give me their advice. I want to make this person mod. What do you guys think? You know, depending if I don't know the person, and then I see what they think. If their opinion is what I want to hear, then I'll make you mod, or I'll take care of the problem. You know what I mean? So that's how I deal with it. Ark, thank you for that donation. $2 donation.
Whoop, whoop. I like how the notification
Random
thing
mod
feature shows
request
up right
win
over
heart.
For a few moments, Vinge's face basically matches his shirt because the whole thing is yellow.
Oh my god!
Boom. All right, here's a toughie. Here's one that's a really sensitive subject for a lot of starting streamers and a lot of streamers that are very sensitive, because there are a lot of streamers that take things to heart when it comes to streaming. When streaming, you lose subs and you gain subs. How do you deal with losing subs? And does it bother you / stress you out?
Ooh, I'll start. I got to deal with this already.
All right.
So I've actually been dealing with this a lot lately. It's not been very big numbers. A lot of us actually, right? Because YouTube's been purging a lot of the bots and stuff like that and duplicate accounts. So I mean, I'm no different than most of you guys in this regard, right? That we're all suffering, we're all losing. I sat at 1998 or something like that. Well, I hit 2,000 subs about 5 or 6 times in like 2 weeks. Okay, first of all.
That's a lot of celebrating.
Right? Every single time we had a special stream and everything. It was great.
It was great.
Megan has to resub to me several times. Epic Potato Chip has resubbed to me. Like, he told me that it was on a weekly basis at least or something like that. It was ridiculous that he had to resub to me because YouTube was just unsubbing, right? But anyways, that's aside. It's a little disheartening to a point, right? When you go from like, you make a nice milestone like 2K, you hit 2,000, everybody, you're super excited, or 1,000, you're super excited, and then YouTube purchases a bunch of accounts, and then you're down to like, you lost like 20 subs.
Yeah,
it's not huge, but it's enough that you have to kind of work to get them back, right?
Yeah,
to get more. I would be probably 50 subs more than I have now if YouTube's purge wouldn't be happening. And that's, I'm not worried about the numbers in that case, but I'm just saying, like, but it doesn't bother me or stress me out, really. At this point, it doesn't. Because it's not like I'm losing hundreds of subs, right? Or like 50 subs or whatever. I lose a few of them here and there. They come back, people come resub, whatever. To me, the most disheartening thing about the whole situation with the losing and gaining subs is I had one stream one night where I gained I get all the emails, at the end of the night. I look at all, and there's like 30 emails, from gaining subs, and I end up like 2 less than I started with.
Oh man, yeah.
It's a little disheartening because you got all kind of subs. You're like, yes, that's amazing, and then you're like, wait, what?
Mm-hmm.
It was bothering me and stressing me at first when I was like losing them here and there, but I'm like, whatever. At this point, it doesn't change much at the end of the day, right?
Oh, jeez! I'm sorry.
The 666?
Somebody gave me 666.
Just talked about that.
That's amazing. But anyway, yeah, it's fine. It doesn't bother or stress me anymore like it did before. That's great. I like that. Oh my god.
That was too funny. Louis, what about you?
Well, going off what Corey kind of said, you've been hearing it at work. That's what I'm dealing with now. So for a lot of people who are in this, watching this and don't know my channel, I had a very quick growth. In about 3 months, I went from 6 subs to 1,000. So I grew really fast, and it wasn't bots. It was all legitimate viewers. I was getting 60 viewers per stream, every stream. Like I was on. And then unfortunately I lost my job. So I was forced to get rid of my internet, stop streaming for 2 months. Then I came back for 2 months, and then my grandfather passed away. And then I was the only one that was able to take care of my grandmother. So again, I had to stop streaming. So I went from 50 to 60 viewers at a time to 3 at a time. That was extremely disheartening. I went from, when I stopped, I was at around 2,000 subs, and I dropped down to 400. Luckily, a lot of them jumped back on. I went back up, but I was... I was still like 200 or 300 lower than where I was when I stopped. And it's been a really big slog for me, where Corey's saying how he would get subs and end up with less. That is a daily struggle for me. The only time I actually gain subs at the end of a stream is when I'm rated. On a regular basis, I am 5 or 6 subs below where I start every stream. Even if I'm getting subs throughout the stream, I'm always 4 or 5 underneath. I'm losing 2 or 3 subs a day and not gaining any on the offline time, when I used to gain 8 or 9 a day offline and 20 to 30 a day on stream. So it's been really, really hard for me to watch the numbers freeze. I was stuck at 2,000 for a really long time. Then I got to 2,500, and then I got stuck there for a really long time. Now I'm at 2.7, but I'm frozen there. Like I'm growing and I'm shrinking. I'm growing and I'm shrinking. And I've been doing the same thing as Corey, where it's like I was at, 2698, then 2701, then 2698, then 2701. Right now I broke it thanks to a DGR raid that I had today.
Ooh, nice.
But that's the only reason that it's gone. But the numbers have been really shooting me in the foot. A big part of it is just the fact that I left and then came back and then left and then came back. So it's been really, really wonky. I've had a lot of people unsubscribe because of that. I got botted, and bots don't help. They make the channel suffer. I got severely botted, like 800 subs. So it shot my channel up, but then losing them all, it just looks like the channel is shrinking at all times. Because I wasn't losing them. Like Kat was botted, and then she lost a whole bunch in one shot.
300 the other day.
Yeah. And then she got debotted pretty quickly, whereas mine was I was losing about 10 to 15 a day. So it just looked like it was an incremental shrink. So again, I've gone, this is probably month 5 that I've gone without a single person coming in who's been recommended. Everybody that's come in has come in through other streamers. I used to get at least once a week somebody go, hey, I found you on my recommended list. I haven't had that in about 5 or 6 months. I'm not getting my alerts sent out to anybody. I'm having a lot of struggles with YouTube. So to me, it's the stress of knowing I'm on a crunch right now because I'm going back to school in September and I'm not going to be able to keep this strength up when I start school again. So for me, that's the stressor where it's like I'm losing numbers while I'm streaming 5 days a week, 3 hours a day. What's going to happen when I'm potentially down to 2 hours a day, twice a week?
Right.
So that part stresses me out. At the same time, they're numbers. You have to look at it realistically, right? I see other streamers that stream 15 to 16 hours a day, 6 days a week, and they're not growing as fast as I am, or they're not frozen where I am. So that part helps. But it can definitely be stressful. It can really mess with your head. Like, there have been multiple times where I've messaged my girlfriend right after the stream. I log off, and I'm like, yeah, that was great. I got 15 subs today. And then I look at the number, and I'm actually below where I started. And it's just like, so did I lose them through the subs, like through the stream, and the subs were just kind of countering it? Or did they sub, and then instantly YouTube took them away? Or, like, what happened? I don't know. And then I get people that'll come in, and they'll be like, I haven't been here in a year because I didn't realize I wasn't subbed to you anymore. So
I get that too.
Yeah, so it can be frustrating. YouTube's algorithm is really shooting the small person in the foot. And it messes with your head. It can mess with your head even if you try not to care. It can make it a struggle. It can, at least in my perspective, it makes it a struggle.
What about you, Chadley?
Yeah, like Louis said, the big thing is to just not, I mean, it's a numbers thing. Like, you got people that come on a regular basis to hang out and stuff. You got the struggle with YouTube where the people that want to come don't know to come.
Yeah.
And then just the way YouTube works, like, I may get recommended to a ton more people than Louis right now.
Yeah.
And it's just the way that YouTube works. But then a month from now, for whatever reason, YouTube's deciding to say, okay, Louis, we're gonna let you be recommended. It's a very strange thing right now with how YouTube has things set up. But I try not to let it bother me. And now, and the thing is, it's weird because as your channel grows, you notice the difference more.
Yeah.
Because the more number, or the larger you have, the more you have to lose.
Yep.
So when you're at 200 to 300 subs, when you lose 1 or 2 people, it doesn't sting as bad. And if you let that bother you, because, like, a good example, okay, is there's a couple of people that I've been following. Not going to say their names, but the one instance was like somebody comes in and says, wow, you only have 15 watching. How pathetic. You know, and they have 1,600 subs or something like that. So they immediately expect you to have at least half of your subscriber base watching you all the time. And it's not, I mean, and you look at somebody that might be like 1 million subs who has 50,000 people watching. When you do the percentages, that's not a lot.
Right.
It's 50,000 people.
I actually did the math about 4 days ago. There's a person I'm subscribed to, 615,000 subs he's got. When he streams, he's got 800 people watching. Sounds like a lot. He was at 0.0001% of his view count was watching him. I did my numbers, and I was at 0.003. I have way more percentage than he does, even though he's gigantic and has 800 people watching him.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's the thing, is like, you also have the subs who sub for content. You have subs that sub for live streams. So obviously, because I do nothing but live streams, all of my subs are driven from that. Not many people want to watch 2-hour videos if they're not live.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
It's just
I'm that
it's
way.
just the way it is. Like
Yep.
they'll skim
Yeah.
through the video, and especially like if we're doing Mario Maker, we have a few people that they can't make the streams, so they'll watch it afterwards. But they're not sitting there watching the whole 2 hours. They're gonna skim through it. They're gonna find where you played their level, and then move on.
Yep.
Because it's not live. It's just like a 10-minute video. Like most studies, I think, have been done that said if you have a video that's longer than 10 minutes, you're not going to have that whole video be watched.
Yeah.
Unless it's something that is going to draw the person in, and there's just so much out there that's almost impossible nowadays.
Yeah, like I never ever watch Ryukar live ever, but I religiously watch all his offline content. Love his stuff, but I can't watch him live.
Yeah. And so yeah, like I try not, because I will obsess over those numbers if I let it. Because I'm a big, and a lot of people, if you don't understand what we see, we have on the YouTube side for us, there's this whole page all about the analytics of what goes on during our streams. There's like tons and tons of data that we can examine.
Yeah.
I love seeing that data, not because of the types of numbers that I'm seeing, but it's just neat to be able to say like, oh, majority of my viewers are from the United States, but wait, I got 10% from Canada. Like, it's just cool for me to know where my people are coming from.
Yep.
But if I'm looking at that sub counter and I'm looking at the the line graph going across, and I see a huge drop, and then like if I let that bother me, like it's gonna affect the streams. Like people will see that, like they'll see that you're discouraged, they'll see that you are letting things bother you,
Exactly. Actually, I can give a perfect example. I'm not gonna name who. There's a streamer that I recently met, and I've been watching him, and he gets very discouraged very quickly because he'll be watching his sub count, and he watches it, and then he'll see it drop, and he'll be like, no, why are you guys unsubbing? Don't do that to me. Don't do that to me. Please sub. And like he's constantly reminding people, don't forget to hit that sub button, please. I don't want you guys to unsub. I don't know why people are unsubbing to me. And I told him already, don't do that. Don't do that, because people don't want to see you desperate. You should be enjoying what you're doing. Don't worry about that. Or he gets a dislike and he cries about the dislike. Hey, Curls, thank you for the $10 donation, buddy.
Hey,
everybody hashtag Curls, please. So yeah, like it's
I
like
can make a better algorithm than YouTube.
But yeah, so like if they see when you get a thumbs down, he complains about that too. He's like, oh, why are you disliking? And it's like, don't put any attention to that, because at the end of the day, again, YouTube has changed everything now. Thumbs down don't count anymore as they used to. They're interactions still, so it's a positive for us. But yeah, like sometimes I mean, you can't really focus on the numbers, because all it does is make you look like a bad streamer, I guess, a desperate streamer, and you don't want that. You want people to know that you're having fun. This is you're having fun doing this. I mean,
yeah. And then it's hard because you'll have people point it out. Like for me, I had that big drop in view count, and I'll have people that haven't watched me in 6 months, and they'll come in and they'll be like, "Wow, you've only got like 10 people watching you." In my mind, I'm going, "But last week I only had 3, so 10 is awesome." And they're thinking, "You used to have 60, and now you only have 10." And it's like, I know that, and it's already got me worried, but you can't let it come through, because then everybody's gonna go, like he's desperate to get us to view him, and I don't want to view him if he's desperate. Because in the end, this isn't my living, this isn't my company, this isn't, if this fails, I'm gonna die tomorrow. It's a hobby, it's for fun. So the numbers give you an idea to gauge if you're doing something right or wrong. But they're a gauge, right? Like if I'm playing something like Mario and I'm getting a lot of viewers, but then I turn around and like today I played a horror game, I don't get as many viewers in it. So I know, okay, my main sub count isn't a big fan of horror games. But that's all it's telling me. I don't need to say, oh no, I'm doing something wrong, and why do people not like me? It's no, I know my viewers want to see Mario. So then I know, okay, why am I doing horror? Well, it's for me. So the numbers give you a gauge. It shouldn't be the end all and be all.
Yeah, exactly. Bench, what about you, buddy? How do you look at that? What does that do to you? The number drops, or
Yeah, like the thing is, when it comes drops, it will play tricks on your psyche, and it's like you guys were saying, is crucial. It's funny how the little things can play such a pivotal role to the success of your streams. It really does, because like you say, people can feel that energy, and every little thing was like will eat away at you. For me, I kind of look at it as if when I see that stuff happening, it's like one thing that I always tell myself is out of my control. I can't control that. The only thing that I can do is just try to make the best of every situation, because that YouTube purge thing, all that's out of your control. You can't do.
Yeah.
No, exactly. You can't.
And it could bother me too, but I just think of it that way. It kind of helps me stay in focus. But there is one thing that is an interesting thing that I thought about. I felt like this is a key thing to share with you all, because this was really big for me. Because sometimes you win some, you lose some, right?
Yep.
And it's not due to the purge. Like there was an incident a long time ago. And there was a disagreement, and I haven't seen them for and I mean, and I kind of looked at it. It brought me down a little bit, because that was, it was a friend that was with us for a very long time, and there was a disagreement, and it caused the problem. But once again, I have no control over it. I just have to keep moving, and hopefully something happens. And then like oh my god, like this was the coolest thing, right? The individual
Epic potato chip needs more
like,
horror greater than
recently
here it
retired.
is.
And I was like, oh my god, what's good? You know what I mean? Like being happy to see him, because I actually am, because I haven't seen him in a long time. And so and to see the change, to see that change in him was the most gratifying thing that I have ever seen. Because at first he was a frustrated person, and you know what? Part of me thought of, it's probably life, because life can hit all of us just like that, snap a finger like Thanos. Yeah. And to see him come back, maybe he just needed a break. Came back, his behavior, the way he was speaking to people, it was the coolest thing that I ever seen. And then out of nowhere, this bro like subscribe to my Twitch. I'm like, dude shocked the heck out of me. And it was like, that was like the coolest thing. And so the lesson that I took from all of that is viewers have bad days too, just like we do. And if it's not, and we just got to keep moving and just wait on the epicness to happen, because it always does.
Oh, for sure. All right, we talked a lot about negative stuff. Let's move on to the little bit of a positive thing. Not positive, but more like information for the viewers, or for people who are wanting to start streaming. Which I feel this is very important. I'm gonna think you guys agree with me on this one. Do you feel schedule is very important for a streamer, and why?
Ooh, I love this one.
I know, right? Corey, go ahead, buddy. You can start us off.
I can speak very clearly on the fact that schedules are very important. When I started streaming, even when I started to take it a little bit more seriously, when I was just on Twitch, I didn't have like a full-on schedule or anything yet, right? And I was just kind of streaming when I felt like it. Even when I decided more than just to stream a little bit of me doing something in Destiny so that my friend could watch, right? So like I would just kind of pick it up and play, and I'd get people every now and then that would kind of find me and be like, I like Destiny, I'll watch this for a little bit every now and then. But like at a certain point, I learned, like someone suggested to me that you need to put out a schedule. And this is again before I was on YouTube, before I was really taking it seriously. But I started to make a schedule, and I started to at least have my days planned, right? Like what days I would stream on, not necessarily the times. I would just stream at some point during the day. It didn't matter. But on like Tuesdays, Fridays, and Saturday, whatever it was, And then I started actually seeing people come back. Still didn't have a lot of viewers. I'd have one or two every now and then, but they were repeat. They were repeat viewers. They were regulars, you know, at a certain point. So that definitely showed me something right there. Once I started being consistent where they knew at the very least what day to find me on, they would come out. And now being on YouTube, taking this actually seriously and everything, having a schedule is incredibly important to a point. Once you have a community and once you have your viewers and all, if you have to deviate or whatever, the people are going to forgive you and things are going to be okay. But keeping to a schedule helps them plan their day when they want to come watch you, you know, or anything like that. And so, yeah, I personally think scheduling is huge, to keep to it as much as you can. Everybody knows things happen. We're all human. We all, you know, we all have lives here, you know, families, social lives, whatever. People get it. We get sick, you know, so, but yes, I found that keeping a schedule is incredibly important mainly for those reasons, you know.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
sure.
that was one of the things that when I was telling you guys that I kept coming out to my brother. See what the guy said? That was one of the things that I told him is, you know, schedule. We have to stick to a schedule. That has to be done. Not speaking about me, but speaking about another person who watches my channel. They are not a streamer. They are a content creator. And it was one day that I only had 2 viewers. It was a very quiet stream. And, you know, they were asking me questions. And because it was just 2 of them, it became more intimate. They were asking me very, very candid questions about becoming a YouTuber and whatever. And one of the kids said the typical thing, well, I don't have time, so I can't. And it's like, well, then maybe this isn't where you want to be if you're trying to make this grow. If you're doing it for a hobby, who cares? There's not a big deal. And then this other guy goes, I've tried, I make content, I try to make my content great, but nobody comes. Like, why? So I ask him, how often do you release videos? He goes, whenever I can. And it's like, well, if you really want this, it has to be at a schedule. So through the conversation, the kid decided he was going to make a video once a week. He was at about 300 subs when we had this conversation. In 2 months, he shot up to over 4,000 subs.
Wow.
All because he stuck to a constant schedule. Now, his content is hit and miss because he set too tight of a schedule. So he's not able to create good content. But
he's pumping it out.
Yeah, but the schedule is there. So people know to find him. And he has surpassed me. Now, he's gotten a bit of a big head because he'll come into my chat just to tell me how awesome he's doing and how much better he's doing than my channel. Yeah.
Wow.
But it was the schedule. The schedule, what I always try to connect it with is people come to YouTube for maybe 20 minutes at a time. Like, they'll just pop in randomly to see what's going on. If they like you, they want to know when to find you. And if you're just streaming whenever, well, they might have only popped on for 10-15 minutes and you may not have been streaming. In those 24 hours, 10-15 minutes is nothing.
Yeah.
So how likely are they to find you? So if you have a schedule, they're gonna know at the same time every day I can catch this person.
Yeah.
So I know if I can't make it today, well, next week they'll be here at the same time doing the same thing.
Yep.
I think schedule is make or break. And Jenpoo made a really good point, and I just want to reiterate what Jenpoo said. Because of the wonky alert system, it is more important than ever to have a schedule now because people can't find you because YouTube isn't letting them know.
Yep.
Sure.
Exactly.
That's a really good point, actually. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, like for instance, Megan said that she got a notification my stream that I did yesterday, my VR stuff. She got a notification. I did it at like what 6 or something yesterday, 6 my time. She said she got a notification for it around 3 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. No.
How helpful is that at all?
Yeah, no, for sure.
know,
You
right?
couldn't even watch the video at that time because it was blocked by that point.
Oh,
There is no viewing it at that point.
I mean, we all can't be lucky and be handsome like me, so yeah, stick to a schedule.
you're a pretty boy, man.
What do you? So, yeah, do you have anything to add to this, Chadley?
Yeah. I lost my train of thought. Yeah, schedules. Yes. Yes, we're talking about schedules. Sorry, I was distracted by Rigo.
The beauty.
By his handsomeness. Yes.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah. So yeah, schedules. So obviously, when I started, I didn't really have a schedule either. Didn't really, because I was just kind of feeling it out to see if I wanted to do it. That's a big thing. If you want to do this, you kind of have to have a game plan in mind. Even though you're considering it as a hobby, you do have to think about it. You have to realize like, oh, I'm not just gonna turn on my camera, play a game, and not have somewhat of a plan. When I started, I could only do computer stuff.
Yeah.
I couldn't do console stuff.
Right.
And like Louis said earlier, I did what I could with what I had at the time. And over time, I kind of started feeling like, well, I need a schedule, mainly for the sanity of me and my wife, my family, because the schedule's nice for everyone else, but when you have a family, the schedule is crucial when you have a family. My wife wants to know when I'm doing this so that she knows, hey, if you're going to be doing this on these such and such a days, then I'll respect that and I'll support you in that or whatever. If I'm just doing it whenever, not really giving her any type of notice, she's not going to be very happy with me. So family is like crucial, like
Megan's
schedule is
just ready to
crucial
learn
with
my
family.
schedule, too.
But and the schedule's nice because then you can prepare better. If you don't have a schedule, then you can't really prepare for what you're gonna do. You're not as organized. You're not like it. Yes, this is a hobby for me, but it's become more than that a little bit too, where it's like I want to make it better. And to build on a craft or build on a skill, you always need to prepare for that. And so, yeah, the schedule has been a very crucial thing for me, is like just trying to keep my sanity of like doing this, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
And obviously everybody understands that, hey, you have a schedule. People know when you're going to be viewing, and then you have to remember that you got to be vocal about when you deviate or when you're not able to meet that schedule. Yes, you're doing this as a hobby and stuff, and you don't want to upset anybody, but you still show respect to everybody that's been part of your community, I guess, that's been looking forward to spending time with you. It's not even the fact that they come to watch you. It's become to the point where they want to spend time with you, they want to talk to you, they want to interact with you. And sometimes that's all they get sometimes in their lives, and they look forward to it, and they're happy that they have somebody, even though you never met them, that you've never met them in real life, but they're still your friend at that point. And that's why I love my channel right now with the size that it is. If I get larger, then great, but I love being able to interact with everyone right now. I
agree.
have that more personal connection with
I was having this exact same conversation about last night about having, you know, the channel be at that size, right? Like where you can still have these like personal conversations with people. Nothing wrong with having a growing channel and all, and I want to grow my channel. I don't necessarily want to get crazy DGR or Ryu car size, you know, but I do want to grow my channel, obviously. But I do like that I'm a small enough channel that when people come in, I can say hey to them, or I can get to know people. I have tons of people in my channel that come in and talk, and I know I can ask them things about what's been going on, or something, you know, an event in their life or whatever. And you guys are all like that too. You know, you do the same things, and I think it's great. I love that about the size that our channels are right now, is that we can have that interaction and everything, that very close interaction with a lot of people. You really get to know people.
Exactly. Benj, I'm just gonna cut you off for this question, because Chadley mentioned something that I wanted to actually put a little bit more focus on, because I get asked this a lot, and I've seen a lot of videos about this, and I was nervous when I was becoming a streamer, and that is it possible to stream and have a social life and a family? Because that's one of the biggest things that everybody always asks. Well, what about your life? What about girlfriend, boyfriend, kids, babies? I always get asked, how do you do it? Especially someone like Chadley who has 5 kids, right? But what do you guys? You know, I just really want to focus a little bit on that. What do you guys think? Is it possible to do streaming full time and then be able to have your social life at the same time? And how do you guys work around it?
So I think this goes hand in hand with the very last question that we just answered, right? About a schedule.
Exactly.
Right, because it's just like when you talked about how Chadley, brought this up, right? It's absolutely crucial if you intend to at least attempt to have a social life or family or anything, a girlfriend, one that maybe has kids of her own that you have to work around these situations with as well. So it's really, for me, it's important that I keep to my schedule as much as I can. Hard to deviate because the time that I get to see my girlfriend, for instance, is a little bit rarer than a lot of people because of her situation and all too. So, who say what? But keeping to your schedule, as long as you work it around that, you can absolutely, I think it's absolutely 100% possible to have a social life and to have, wife, boyfriend, husband, whatever your deal is, as long as you understand that there's a balance to it all. There has to be a balance. One can't way overpower the other or whatever. It's all a hobby, right? We all, that's what it is for all of us anyway. It's a hobby we all enjoy. It's a hobby we've all grown to really enjoy and have a good time. And like you guys were saying, we have those people that want to come talk to us, that rely on being able to come talk to us, and also it's all a balancing act with all of it. But yes, it's absolutely. I think I don't know everybody's situation necessarily in here, but at least most of us can pretty much attest to that for the most part. That it's possible.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I mean, for myself, for example, I have, obviously everybody knows that I have two younger kids, and when I started streaming, Mayela was still just learning how to go to the bathroom, but she was in diapers. So then I had a special command, daddy command that I had on there that I would have to get up and change her. And until today, it still happens. Well, I'm streaming and all of a sudden I hear, "I'm done." And then I got to put down the control and say, "Okay, I'll be back, guys. Daddy duties." Because I can't stop my life. I'm not going to turn around and say to my kid, "Well, I'm streaming. Figure it out yourself." And continue playing. It's not how it works. So I like,
figure out how to change your own diaper, dang it.
Yeah, it has to be a balance, a nice balance. And that was the concern Nelly always had with me was, well, are you gonna have time for the kids? Are you gonna have time for Mayela? Because she wasn't in school at the time. I had to make time. And one of the biggest things is I have her sitting right here beside me on stream, and a lot of people will say, "I hear your daughter singing, I hear your daughter yelling," because I'm not going to kick her out. I need to watch her, and I want to entertain you guys too. And so I have to balance them both, and it's working, and it's worked. Thank goodness, and I've been lucky that way, that she's been able to sit down and play with her toys here in the room with me, and whatever attention she needs, I give it to her. Because you watch my streams, you'll see me where I'm playing, and I'll turn around and I'll be like, "Oh yeah, baby, yeah. Oh, okay, yeah," and then back to the stream. Because if I don't give her that attention, she's gonna get up and do something because she wants my attention, right?
The sad part is he does that even when she's not in the room.
I know, I do too.
He's just so used to it.
Yeah, and like one of the things is like finding balance with Nelly too. Like that's why I stream Monday to Friday, and then Saturday, Sunday usually is for her, or for my Sunday would be for me to rest. I do my sponsor streams now on Saturdays, but that's because how the schedule is working at work right now. And I'll move it back to Friday soon, but that's how, and then Epic Potato needs his time too, and then Jenpu needs her time, and Steffi and Ryan need their time. It's a lot of responsibility on me.
I feel it. Jeez.
No, I do.
People counting on us.
What do you, so Vengeance, now you can go ahead. I'm sorry that I took all that time. Please, what is your, I guess, look upon everything, the scheduling and balancing social life and family and all that?
Oh God, no worries, man. No worries. No issue whatsoever. So, oh God, for me, that's like real, because like some viewers don't understand how difficult streaming can actually be.
Yep.
Because it's like a huge commitment because of the fact that you have to be really consistent in order to do well. I mean, we literally take time out of our own lives just to stream when when it comes to the videos, I mean, you can just do that whenever you want, anytime, and then you could prepare the video any time of the day. So it's like very flexible if you're like only doing content, but when you stream, you just don't have that luxury. I mean, going to work, dealing with family, spending time with family, spending time with your lover, planning for streams, planning for life, all before that stream, and it can be really tough. But like you guys were saying about like schedules is like a big problem solver when it comes to that, because like if you are consistent enough and you follow that schedule, even your viewers will begin to understand, you know what, he put so much time into these streams. I mean, if something happens or there's something that he has to take care of, we can respect that because he takes so much time out of his life to entertain us. We can give them, you give whoever that respect. So it's a win-win.
Yep.
That's a good answer.
Yeah.
I like that answer.
Now for me, I don't have a family. Like I don't have a legitimate family living with me that I'm supporting and all that stuff. I have a different set of responsibilities. So again, for those of you who don't know, I have a girlfriend and she has a little girl. I've stepped in as her stepfather, so I do have that responsibility, but I don't live with them. My thing is I'm going to school full time in a city that's an hour's drive, but a 3-hour commute for me because I don't drive because parking is insane. So to have school full time and continuous stream and make time to see my stepdaughter and girlfriend is tough. Now going off what Venge said, it helps when people are very understanding, although I have had people that don't understand. So for the offline content, the big thing is, for me anyways, offline content takes a lot more to do than a stream. A stream I can sit for 2 hours, I'm done and it's over. Whereas offline content, it could be a 10-minute video, but it could be 5 hours of work for that 10 minutes, and in turn for that 50 views instead of the 200 views of a stream. So it gets hard to balance it all, but the schedule helps. The schedule helps big time. But I don't think it's impossible to have a family life or a social life. You just have to know how to balance it right? Like if you're gonna just sit in your room and play all the time, then everything's gonna suffer around you. And if you're going to ignore your channel, then that's gonna suffer. Now if it's a hobby, if it's whatever, then I guess you wouldn't really care if your channel suffered. Like if it was one of those, I don't really care, I'll just stream whenever, then you can't expect it to grow. You just got to be willing to accept the fact that you'll have one viewer at a time. But I think schedule is where it all sits and lies. The video I showed my brother, that was one of the big topics that they had, is how do you balance family and streaming? And you have to have an understanding family. Like if Nelly didn't let my brother do what he's doing without nagging him, he wouldn't be able to do what he's doing. I'm sure if Chadley's wife wasn't on top of him all the time, you know, if she was on top of him all the time, he wouldn't be able to do. He wouldn't be able to do what he's doing. So she also has to have, you know, a bit of like we have to thank her for not making his life impossible to do this. Because without her or his family giving him the freedom, we wouldn't have Chadley and his awesome content. That's where I have it a bit easier, where it's just me. I've got my girlfriend, but in the end, we're not married, and I'm not supporting them, so it's not like she really holds me to the same level that my brother or Chadley are held to. They are the heads of the household, or they are the father of the household, where they have a certain amount of responsibility. So in that way, I'm thankful that I am where I am, where my girlfriend's super understanding, and she would, I think if we were living together, she would still be just as understanding. But I am thankful that I don't have to deal with the way things that Rigo and Chadley have to deal with, if that makes sense.
Bring balance to the force, we must. All right, so let's see. Here's a good question. Have any of you guys ever been burnt out? And what did you do to overcome it? That's a big one, because as streamers, I've seen a lot of streamers. I know a certain streamer. Now, this is just rumor and speculation. We were talking about this the other night with some friends of mine, and this big streamer, he exploded, and all of a sudden he's like, I need a break, and he left, and he hasn't come back since.
Holy
Because
smokes.
he burnt himself out, you know.
Mhm.
So have any of you guys been burnt out or close to that, and what did you do to overcome it? Because that's a big one. I mean, that's a big thing.
That's pretty big.
So I can say I've never been fully burnt out. I've definitely felt the burnout, if that makes sense. Still, like I've never been like burnt out where like I just don't want to do it, or like I'm just done, where I have to take a break for 6 months or whatever. I have, however, so there was a time a few months back where I was streaming consistently, basically every single day. And it would be many of the streams would be 3 to 4 hours. I was working from home, so I had a lot less. That takes up. I have almost 3 hours on the road every day. So there was a lot more free time, and I was streaming a ton. And I was streaming, like I said, just about every day for like probably almost like 2-3 months. And it burnt me out so, not physically, and I almost want to say like not emotionally, but if you guys know, I mean, like it was so draining to me though. Like it was to the point where like I didn't want to look at my computer to stream.
Yeah.
Like I was just like, I wound up at I think I took like a week off or whatever. That was big when I was streaming every single day. That wasn't even by schedule. That was just because like I was, scheduling to do these days, but then I was like, oh, let me just stream again on this day because I'm having fun. And then it kind of became routine.
Right.
And then at a certain point I was just like, I've gotta stop. I can't do this. Like this is killing me. And no, Megan, I am not burnt out on playing games with you. But yeah, I definitely have, and I just have to take a little bit of, and I was good to go again, recharged up.
Yeah, I burnt out. So the first time I had to stop the channel was out of my hands. That wasn't me wanting to stop. It was I lost my job. I couldn't afford to stream. But the second break I took was totally due to burnout, and it wasn't due to the actual channel. It was everything in my life around the channel.
We were all sad.
So for long story short, my grandfather passed away suddenly, and I had to take over the reins of taking care of my grandmother, and nobody else was available to give me any breaks. So I was with her 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and she has Alzheimer's. It's extremely hard to deal with somebody with Alzheimer's when they're at the level that she's at, because she's not completely helpless, but she's helpless enough that she doesn't realize that she needs the help. So I had to be on her all the time, and I had nobody to relieve me. So it was tough being indoors all day, every day, and then being on the stream, but having to run downstairs and check on her and make sure she's not cooking and burning things and make sure she's not leaving the house. Nobody to rely on. I'm not working, so I have no finances to be able to like even go out for 5 minutes and do something on my own. I'm stuck inside. So I've had that kind of burnout. The other danger that and not everybody's going to deal with that, but one of the dangers that a lot of streamers deal with is burning out on the games you play. Because you build your channel. Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Joseph Fez actually brought it up recently, saying, you have to stick with your schedule and what you stream, because viewers come for specific things. It's very true. The downside is you burn out, because you're going to play the same game every day, all the time, and you just can't. There's a streamer that I watch who's very big, and he plays PUBG all of the time. And he's been branching out into playing other things recently, and he's not getting the view count that he normally has. But it's because his viewers are there for his PUBG skills. It almost seems like he got scared and he's gone back to PUBG because he can't handle the drop in view count, but it's the risk you take. It's when you go to switch what you're doing, people are not gonna like it. I built my channel on Zelda and Mario Maker. That was my thing. I totally dropped both of them from my channel, and it happened at the time that the purging was going on, and I had taken my break, and the view count was just not there. So I've brought them both back, but I've also added things that are just for me. So the horror days on Sunday is for me. That's my game for me to play because I want to do it. I also expect to not have my 15 to 16 viewers. I expect my 7 to 8 viewers, because there are a few people that will enjoy that with me, but most of my viewers won't. And they like me enough that they'll pop in and be like, hey, I'm just coming in to give a like, but I don't like horror games. I respect that. But you have to be willing to accept that you won't get the viewers. You have to learn, again, going back to the balance, you have to learn to balance pleasing the viewers, but not killing yourself playing the same game. Because like you said, Mario Maker, everybody plays Mario Maker all of the time. I couldn't do it full time. I couldn't do Mario Maker every single day. Once a week is more than enough for me. And what helps with Mario Maker is that it's always different every time you play it.
Exactly.
So at least there's variety. But something like PUBG or Fortnite, it's like it's exactly the same all the time. I don't think I could handle something like that. And I would probably not have made it past 500 subs if I was a one-game streamer.
Oh yeah, absolutely. There's no way.
Yeah, so my hat goes off to those guys that's all they do, like Ninja with only Fortnite. I don't know how you do it, dude, but all the power to you. That's just not me.
There you go.
I've definitely experienced it. I think my biggest struggle with burning out is not taking it out on the viewers, because you get frustrated and you get really, really annoyed because it's like, okay, I'm playing this game. I really don't want to play this game. I'm playing it for you. And somebody may not be complaining for the sake of complaining. They may just really not like something, something really little. Like I've had people complain about really, really nitpicky things, and it has made me really upset. And I shouldn't be. Like I had one person that was upset because at the time my internet wasn't working. I had a low bit rate and I couldn't do anything about it, and they just wouldn't let it go. And they're like, as soon as you start playing, the quality goes down. It's like, well, because the bit rate is low and I can't control it. Yeah, but look. And they even sent me pictures of it, like, privately. And they're like, look how it looks. And it's like, I know, but I can't go past, like, I was streaming at, like, what was it, 200 kilobytes? So, like, not even 480p. And they just wouldn't let it go. And it's like, okay, I'm so close to burning out, and you are just nitpicking at something that's, like, I can't control. So it's really hard to not let things get to you when you're on that brink of about to burn out. And that's where you need to be careful, is not step into that burnout territory and find a way to relieve that stress, because that's what it is. It's stress. So that's been my experience with it anyway.
Sadly.
Yeah, the most I've ever had with burnout lately, I guess, is the games. Korok seeds.
That's all you need to say.
That
Korok
sound
seeds is all I gotta
burned
say.
into my brain right now.
Yeah, exactly that sound. Yeah. Which I still haven't gotten all of them yet, but I had to take a break. I love Breath of the Wild, and I didn't want it to ruin my love for that game. And so that's probably the closest I've ever came to being burnt out from just a game. Streaming in general, again, schedule, going back to the schedule, because I was able to set up my schedule pretty early on, and I've been able to stick to it. The only times I kind of feel the burn, like Corey said, was like maybe if I stay up longer than what I should, or if I stream because I'm like, I gotta beat this level, so I'm gonna play it for another 2 hours, which I've done a couple times already. I feel it. I feel it in the morning because I gotta get up to work the next day, and I'm like, why did I do that? Like,
and I say that to my brother all the time. I'm like, I don't know how Chadley does it, because like you don't work at like 2 in the afternoon. You work right in the morning, and like, you're going at 1 in the morning. I'm like, how is he doing this?
So I mean, I feel it in the morning sometimes, and it's an ongoing struggle with me, and it's one of those things where it's just like, I need to control myself and make it not become a problem, because once it becomes a problem, then you won't see me anymore, because if it becomes a problem and it starts affecting my family to the point where I shouldn't be doing it, then I will probably just disappear like some other people have. Obviously, I'm still going to be around, but you won't see this anymore. So
it's over.
No, don't stop unsponsored.
Do it.
I sponsored for the beard.
Yeah. So I mean, but yeah, I like what Louis said about the games, being a variety streamer does have its perks because the channels grow slower.
Sure.
Yeah.
And you have that variety, so you don't get burnout on a single game. Of course, I could play Fortnite all the time, but I suck. So I already know that I'm not going to get,
here.
I'm not going to get the same view count as someone like Nick A30 or Ninja. Nick A30, for example, he blew up in the last 6 months. Like, he was a small channel before that, and you go back and you watch his stuff before he got really big. He hasn't changed much. He's pretty much the same kind of low-key, laid-back guy.
Mhm.
But I mean, he's gotten so good at that game, and that's all he does. And he's already said it on live stream that, hey, one day I won't be doing Fortnite anymore. I'll be moving on to the next big thing. And that's what's going to happen. Yeah.
Yeah.
When Fortnite loses its popularity, so will the streaming of it. So, and for those people that can play it, like Louis said, my hat's off to them that they can just sit there, play Fortnite for 5 hours straight, take a break, come back, do it for another 5 hours. Like, there's not much variety in that game.
Yeah.
So it's fun to play, but yeah, like, you could easily get burnt out from just playing something over and over and over. And and like Louis, I do Mario Maker once a week, because if I did it every single day, I'd hate that game. I would hate it with a passion. So
me too.
I do it once a week and still kind of hate it with passion.
yeah.
a quick callback to what we were talking about when we were talking about like stressing out about numbers and stuff. I've had 4 subs come in from this podcast because I have my alerts in my ear. Out of the 4 subs, I'm 1 sub less than when I started the podcast. So it's actively happening as we speak. Anyways,
I feel you. I'm too higher than I was when we started, but only because I was too lower than I finished my stream before we started this.
Right?
That
Isn't that?
kind of sense?
Oh, it's so frustrating. It's so frustrating.
Vengeance, what about you, buddy?
Okay, so burnout. There's a few things that I kind of did, because I remember when I first started, that's all I did was Maker. I don't know how I through like over 2 months playing nothing but Maker. I guess it was something really new to me, and it was pretty interesting at the time. But yeah, after a while, you will experience that the blowback from that burnout. And so
Yeah.
I guess after a while, I kind of thought of a few things I could do. Obviously, like you guys said, schedule is a really, really good weapon for that. Another thing that I found that helped me deal with the burnout too was, since I'm making this schedule and I stick to that schedule, and I even reiterate this every now and then just to remind people.
Yeah.
Like, when it comes to 2 specific days, those are considered to be like bonus days, like Sunday and Monday. So if I'm able to stream, if I'm actually able and I feel like doing it, I will do that. And those are considered to be bonus days. So if there's some days I just can't, or I'm just not feeling it, then it's just not gonna happen. And another thing that I'm doing, which is kind of stressful to me right now. It's not very stressful, but when I think about the ramifications of it and see me being a family-friendly streamer and everything, I wanted to add a little variety in a different way where people could earn the right to, let's say, purchase a game to stream. Now, just to help mix things up a little bit more and give them more of an incentive. But the scary part is what game they're gonna pick. So I waste no time to tell them, don't forget, I know I'm a family-friendly streamer. There are some games that I will accept, some games that I will not, because somebody mentioned Street Fighter V, and when I thought of Laura's name, Cammy's name, I'm like, skip the intros really quick. And because I'm really, it's like, depending on what the game is, it's kind of iffy for me, and that's another challenge. But I mean, you know, I'll work my way around it somehow. I played Persona 5 during my beginning venture last year.
Yep.
And it didn't hurt me at all. I mean, of course, like you said, you got to expect the drop in view count. And I did, because there was even some viewers that came in and said, hey, like, I want to support you, but I can't because this game has XYZ in it. And well, I respect you for actually telling me that.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just something I have to live with. But at the same time, it helps with the burnout, because nothing's worse than getting burnt out and then taking it out on live on stream.
Of course.
It's better that than blowing up live and then people look at you like you're crazy.
Yep.
You know, so.
And like,
Absolutely.
for myself, one of the things that I've done, because I'm not gonna lie, like when I was just really family friendly, it takes a toll on you. You know, it takes a toll on you in different ways. You have to watch out what you're saying. You have to watch what people are saying. You need to watch out what games you're gonna play, and it does take a toll. So what I've decided to do is I hold every once in a while at night. I'll do late night with Spanishdude, where you have the right. You don't have to be family friendly that night. That night you can swear. I can swear. You know, a lot of XXX jokes happen on this channel, a lot. But you know what? It's come to the point where everybody's having so much fun and we're enjoying it that I'm able to just release all that stress. Now, I'm not gonna lie. There's some nights where we're playing a certain game, and sometimes certain people like to push buttons, and I will explode, right? But instead of just taking it out on everybody, I kind of just go, okay, you know what? Stream's done. We're done for the night. Have a good night, guys. Da 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 da. And I shut everything off, and then I have to step away, and I will be angry. But
Right.
I mean, my best way for me is I have to do the late night with Spanishdude, because I do have to open up sometimes. I do have to have that. You know, I want to joke around. I want to be able to say, hey, look, this and this and this, and nobody can be like, oh my God, your family friend, look what you're doing. And sometimes
Rigo, admit it. We all know you're talking about Epic Potato Chip. He just doesn't you know, show you the love back, so you get upset.
But I mean, I'm not gonna lie. There's some nights, and Chadley can attest to this. There's some days, where I'm playing a nice family-friendly game, and sometimes, and Vengeance has been in this stream when this happens. Sometimes the naughty stuff comes out when it shouldn't be coming out. But I mean,
remember that.
but I mean,
Hey, sometimes you just can't help it.
but sometimes you can't.
Yeah.
Exactly, you can't help it. And you know what?
Yeah.
I feel that the stream becomes more fun because people are just laughing. And there's some people who are like, "What are you guys talking about? What do you mean by that?" And you don't want to say anything. You just keep going
Ask
with the
your
joke.
parents. No, just kidding.
Well, that's the thing, right? And it's like, but I mean, that's how I deal with my not burning out, you know. And I'm the biggest flirt you'll ever meet. I'm the biggest flirt, and anybody can tell you. Ryan can tell you. Epic Potato can tell you. Eponas can tell you.
Corey can tell you.
Corey can tell you. Chadley can tell you.
He flirted with me in person, you guys. I'm just saying. He flirted with me in person.
I'm the
Be
biggest
jealous.
flirt you'll meet. And you know what though? Like, it's the way I de-stress. It's the way that I have fun. And some people like it, some people don't like it. But it's the way I have fun, and that's how I don't burn myself out.
Right.
You know? Oh my God!
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
I think
That's
I
a scary
heard
night
it.
for me.
I think I heard it through you.
I heard it through his speakers. I heard it through his headphones. Yeah, it was really, really quiet, but it was there.
Yep.
Everybody hashtag ARC in the chat. That helps too. That de-stresses.
Oh, that's been a huge de-stressor. That's been
Yeah.
so good. I love that thing.
Yeah, I love it on mine too. It's ridiculous.
Oh,
You guys
but-
the best times.
Right, it is. Okay, so we've been going at it for 2 hours, guys. Do you guys feel the energy to answer a couple more questions? You feel like you
I'm
can do
good.
it?
It's up to you guys.
I could go for a little longer. I'm pretty tired.
Yeah, I know you're tired, buddy. I know, Corey. Jeez, waste the stream.
Oh,
No.
yeah.
Okay, so let me find some. Let me see. Okay, let's go some fun stuff. Do you guys remember your first big raid, and who was it? So let's start with
Already
Corey.
know that one.
So what,
And
first
no,
of all, what do you
no,
consider
no,
big
no
raid?
DGR, no DGR.
Okay,
No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
What do you consider big raid though? Because
Okay.
I have,
When I mean big raid, I mean that you were just starting off on the channel. You had a little bit of you, and all of a sudden you went from 5 people to like 30, 40, 50, 60, whatever you would consider.
Yeah.
Whatever's big to you. Whatever's big to you.
So okay,
Yeah.
so first of all, I have about 3 of them that I really remember that are like kind of major to me. First one was DGR on my very first YouTube stream.
Whoa.
He rated me, yeah, but the thing is, he was the one that convinced me. Part of his convincing me was hey, if you're not streaming on YouTube, I can't raid you, I can't help you out. There's nothing I can do about that. So, so my very first stream, I was streaming like I don't know, part like 14 or 15 of my Super Mario RPG series. And he comes in, and it wasn't like I said, like these days, but it was still an epic DGR raid. He brought like 50 or something people. It was pretty crazy. I got a ridiculous number of views compared to usual. And then like my next big raid would be Darby from Blue Television Games. He's raided me several times. Lately, we don't stream a lot at the same time, but he has every chance he gets, he raids me and brings, like 100 people. It's crazy. I love it. It's ridiculous. And then, of course, there's the most epic DGR raid that I think I've ever seen in my life. He brought 535 people to my stream, and I didn't know how to function. Didn't know how to function.
Yeah, I remember that night.
I had to move my notifications from the center down to the corner here because people kept going, turn it off. So I turned it off. No, turn it back on. We want to see our names. Okay. No, turn it off. So I'm just like, okay, go here. So then I'm like trying to welcome everybody, and they're just like, play the game. And I was like, but okay, I'm just gonna play the game. But yeah, those are like my 3 really memorable, raids that I've had that are like ridiculous. Like I love seeing. I get retro raids me a lot. Chadley raided me just the other night, right? Didn't you? Yeah, very recently.
Yeah. Yep.
I mean, everybody. I love anytime anybody raids me with a 1-person raid or 500 people. It doesn't even matter. It's the thought. It's the fact that people are like, I want to bring my viewers and send them over to this guy, Yep. So of course I always love anybody that comes and raids, but like those are my 3 most memorable experiences with being raided.
Mine, obviously, I've gotten a DGR raid. I think the biggest I got with him was probably about 120 people.
Still epic.
Yeah, still huge.
Amazing.
But my first really shocking first big raid I ever got was by a German streamer who doesn't stream in English. Like he's a German streamer, and it was his first raid ever. I had 34 subs, and there are 2 people that still watch my channel to this day that were there when I was struggling because I made the big mistake of not being a part of the streaming community before becoming a streamer. So I hadn't built up a community, so being raided was almost impossible because how were they going to find me unless they were looking for a random person?
Yep.
So I'm streaming and whatever, and then all of a sudden I see I'm getting raided. I didn't even know what a raid was, and I'm just seeing they're saying Hubie, right? And I'm like, oh man, this person's like they're promoting themselves, but I'm like, I'm just thankful that they're watching, so I'm just gonna let it slide. And then I see another one and another one and another one, and I'm like, oh, what is this? I'm like, what's going on? And then I broke. I didn't know what to do. He brought almost 200 people to my stream.
Awesome, dude. Oh,
so from
great
1 viewer to 200 all in one shot. I was broken. I was like, I don't even know what to do. I don't know what to say. And he was the reason I got kicked off. And actually, my very first moderator ever was there in that raid, and she's stuck with me ever since. And she's there all the time. She's at every stream, and she's one of like the most loyal people I've ever had. And she's German. And like, it was so weird. So it's like getting raided by you guys is awesome, but like we're in our circle.
Yeah.
And this guy, his name is Hubie. He's never been a part of our circle. He's never,
Right.
and he does all Nintendo stuff, but he's German. So it was really cool to
We
have
accept
somebody.
people from all walks of life here,
Yeah.
even
And
Germans.
And it was just really cool to have somebody on the other side of the planet who doesn't speak the language, because I'll go to his stream and I'll say hi, and he'll even say, I don't speak English, so hello retro, and I'm like, hey man, and then, he'll just speak German the whole time. I'm just there to support him. But it's like it was so cool, and that opened up my eyes to how amazing the Nintendo YouTube community is.
Yeah.
Because when somebody on the other side of the planet took the time to raid me with his 200 people, it was I still think about it to this day. Like, that was the most epic raid I ever got, and not because the raids from you guys aren't amazing. Like you said, one person is still amazing. Yeah. But just somebody who had no connection whatsoever took the time. That was cool. That was so cool.
So that reminds me, and I'm gonna cut anybody off, but it reminds me of what really kicked what kicked DGR into overdrive before Odyssey. Before Odyssey was the thing, because that's really what did it. But right before, and Rico, you might remember. I don't know if Retro. I don't know how much you were around. There, Deep. Y'all remember Deep?
Oh, Deep.
I do remember.
The
He was
Brazilian guy.
Those were huge.
When he got that raid, that very first raid from Deep, I mean, it was a couple hundred people or something ridiculous like that, and it was just nothing. I mean, it was just ridiculous. Just people just flooding in, and it was all, hey, hello, Brazil, we love you, DGR. You're amazing. Hello from Brazil. And then that was before he even hit 10K, like long before. That was when he was at like 3 or 4K.
Yeah, I remember. I was there for that.
And that was amazing. And he just kept getting raided by by him, and a lot of these Brazilians would come in and all, and it just like. I was just thinking about it because you're talking about somebody who really had no connection. He wasn't even in Nintendo community because he was playing a PlayStation game even, He doesn't speak the same language, barely speak any English to even say hello, but comes and brings this ridiculous raid over here and instantly kicked him off. Like that's crazy. Anyway, sorry.
And going kind of with I just read what King said, that he DGR knew who he was before he knew who DGR was, and kind of dealing with raids. I remember the first time DGR popped into my chat, I fangirled like crazy because I was like a huge fan of his, right? Yeah, and I had no idea that he had ever found my channel, and like I was just talking about him. I was like, oh, I love this guy, he's so good, and blah blah. And then he says hi, and I'm like, oh, DGR came to my chat, DGR came to my chat, because like to me, I was at 150 subs and he was at 4,000 or 5,000, and it's like that's a huge number, like difference when you're that little.
Absolutely.
So I remember I fangirled like crazy. So that wasn't a raid, but that was like my most memorable visit I ever had. I was like I was like meeting Keanu Reeves or something. I was like, oh my god, it's DGR.
What about you, Chadley? The biggest raid you ever had?
The biggest one obviously was DGR.
I think
most of you guys,
that's the norm.
Most of you guys were either part of that raid or you were there for the raid, because my daughter was on with me, and like at one point we were playing Mario Kart and I was just driving into the wall.
Was that
yeah, I remember.
I'm like trying to greet everybody coming in, and I'm just like, and my car is just. It's flooring into the wall, and and people are saying, Chadley, you're not driving, you're just hitting the wall. Turn around, let go of the buttons. But I mean that raid always will have a special place in my heart, because he's the one that got me over 1,000 subs.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah. Okay, yeah. I know that raid.
And that was amazing. Like. I out of curiosity, like I said, I love the analytics, because now I can actually see all that stuff. So like when that happened, it peaked at 166 viewers, which is the most I've ever had on a live stream ever, even to this day. And the only other raid that I can think of that would be, it wasn't as big, but close, was, again, like Louis said, I had this guy, I don't remember his name, but he didn't speak English, or he spoke little English. And I don't know, he was playing Odyssey. I think I was playing Odyssey, and I guess he just stumbled across my channel and said, hey, let's go raid this guy. And it was like 50 people came into my chat, just coming in. And I went to the guy's channel, and I saw he wasn't, I didn't know who this guy was. He had no idea who I was. And it was just really cool that this guy would be like, oh yes, this is Americano, and stuff like that, and come in and just say, hey, go to this guy. Just go to this guy and show support. And
Hold
I've
on.
never seen the guy before, or I've never seen him again since.
I wanna do something, Chadley. Just,
Okay.
I need to do this,
Okay.
guys. I wanna show you. I'm gonna cover for a few minutes.
Oh boy.
Yeah, I wanna show you exactly how it was that one raid.
Oh yeah, that was crazy.
Watch
That
his
was so
daughter's
cool to
reaction.
that.
Watch his
Yeah.
daughter's
Oh
reaction.
yes.
It's okay. It's fine.
Ryan
If they want to
White
sub, that's
and,
fine.
yeah.
If you don't
Tristan-
feel like you'll like our content, then that's okay. It's fine.
Bubblegum.
They're doing it to make this video.
Watch. It gets really good.
It's okay. It's okay. We'll get there. Good job. One more. Oh my god!
That's awesome.
Do you see that reaction?
Oh yeah. She freaked out. Yeah.
Her mind was blown. But yes,
Yeah.
yeah, it was a big raid. It was the biggest raid I've ever seen. Vengeance, what about
That's
you?
the day when I
Venge,
finally decided to join Chadley's Discord.
right?
I'll join the Discord now.
What's your biggest raid? Venge?
Wait, me?
Then-
Oh,
Yeah.
all right. Well, obviously DGR is just the norm, man. Like, I couldn't keep up. Obviously, when he raids you, you're not gonna be able to keep up. I tried really hard, but it was a pathetic attempt. It just did not work out. Just a powerful dude. But if I was to throw out, if I would say like two other ones that was quite significant for different reasons, is the last one I'm gonna say because I find it funny because I was trying to maintain my composure when I realized what was happening. The second one was a gentleman by the name of Vinny. Like, that came out of nowhere. Now, I would say his was like around the level of DGR's. It just kind of like hits you, and you might as well give up trying. I was like, yo. And it was crazy. So I mean, like, I knew Vinny, but I never imagined that he would just come out of nowhere and hit me with that. You know what I mean? Because I've seen his streams a few times before. A very energetic individual, extremely. But this one, I didn't know what to think at first because the name surprised me. Hopefully I don't butcher the name, but I believe it was Black Nintendo Crisis, or it was Nintendo Black Crisis, but I think Black came first. I was like, Black Nintendo? I was like, is this like, I was trying very hard not to say something stupid. I was just saying, what, Black Nintendo Crisis? I just had this weird look on my face, like, okay. And like, I didn't know if it was legit or not. But I was like, I'm just going to go with it. And then it turned out that the gentleman that raided me, that was legitimate. I'm like, what do you call himself that? But and so I looked at his channel, right? This dude's a theorist. Like he had some crazy good Zelda theories about Breath of the Wild that I watched that was really impressive. I'm like, how did this brother find me?
That's so good.
Hey. What about you, Rigo?
Well, my first big raid.
Let me guess. DGR. I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
My first big raid. No, actually, my first big raid ever was it was Cat.
Dang it.
Yeah,
Oh,
it was
Tron
Cat.
spoilers.
It was Cat.
Spoiler alert.
Cat
Sorry,
was
guys.
my first big raid. I had 300 subs, and I was playing. I remember I was playing Mario 3 that night. I had 2 people watching only, and I'm just playing, and
You're
all
one
of a
of them.
sudden, I see the first, SCK raid, and I look over, and at that point, I already knew who she was, and I was already fangirling over her. And then I see the second one, and it turned out to be like 50 people, right? So for me, that was huge, and especially because I only had 3 people watching.
Right.
So I went crazy. Oh, what are you doing? Oh my god! I was screaming and telling Nelly, oh my god, Cat raided me. Then my second big raid was DGR. He brought 250 people to my Fortnite stream. So that was an intense raid, and that was when he just finished blowing up. Like he had just finished like really getting up there. I think he was at 50,000 at that point. Then my third big raid was, believe it or not, it was Spawnwave.
No way, really?
Yeah, he was doing his podcast, and this is all thanks because of
Kazoo.
this is because of Kazoo. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was playing Mario. I was doing Mario 64 speedrun, and we're doing our thing, and all of a sudden I look over, and the count's gone from, I had 25 people watching me, from 25 to almost 600 people.
You got little man in the camera bubble.
Yeah,
He's
he's
I didn't know.
So it got really, really, really big.
Crazy,
we had
dude.
all these
Yeah.
people in, and Spawnwave's like, "Oh, Kazoo recommended you." I'm like, "What? What's going on here?" You're doing what we're doing now. You're doing a podcast. In my head, I never figured a podcast would raid, because I just thought you finish your podcast, you're done. So all of a sudden, I see all these people here. I was like, "What? What's going on? Hold on, wait!" Like they broke the stream that night. It was really cool.
Yeah,
It was really cool.
That's cool. That's really cool.
Yeah. Okay, we got time for one more question.
Yeah, I'm
I can do one
good.
more.
Okay, who is your daddy, and what does?
Dang it, Rigo, that's not fair. You're the answer for all of us.
Okay.
Even for Ben.
Now, knowing what you know now about streaming, knowing everything that you've learned over the years of streaming, or over the year, would you go back and do everything differently? And what would you change? And go.
So, I was thinking about this one earlier. To be honest, I wouldn't change a whole lot, except I would have probably started on YouTube a little earlier than I did, and had a set schedule far earlier than I did. Like I said, I streamed on Twitch for almost 3 years, and for the majority of that time, didn't really have a schedule. And even when I did, it was very flexible. So that's the main thing I would change. Other than that, I mean, I'm pretty content. I'm pretty happy with my content, with the way I've handled things, with the way I've grown, my growth of me personally, not just my channel, but with the way my content has evolved, with the way my setup has, having a green screen and having a good camera, mic, and all this stuff. I'm good with all that. I might push things on an earlier track. Other than that, I think I'm okay. Like I'm satisfied. What's happened.
Yeah, I'm pretty happy with what I did. I spent a long time doing research before I ever did my first live stream. Like I spent hours looking up podcasts and how-to videos on how to do everything, including how to build a community, how to pick moderators, and what kind of content to pick and what kind of scheduling you need. All of that. I spent hours at work just listening to all of that. Yeah.
YouTube videos for how to make YouTube videos.
Pretty much. The only thing I wish I would have done is dealt with the streaming community before starting. Because there were little things that they don't tell you in those videos. Like one of the biggest shockers to me as a streamer was the problems you could have with moderators. I've personally had some severe issues with a couple of moderators. And it was things that I wasn't prepared for. And I had to learn on the fly on how to deal with it, because at the time I didn't have a community to talk to.
Sure.
So there were no people to message say, hey, how do I deal with this? Moderators that were falling in love with each other and then backstabbing each other on stream in front of everybody. And it's like, I've got 60 people that are watching my stream and 2 moderators bickering with each other, calling each other names. And it's like, that doesn't look good. And then when they jump on stream, and then they start, calling each other really, really offensive things in the middle of my stream. Those were things I wasn't prepared for. So I wish I would have been a part of the community beforehand, so I could have had somebody to reach out to for questions like that, where it's like, hey, how do I deal with this? Or,
both.
And that's the only thing I would have changed. I'm glad with the research that I did. I'm glad that I started the way that I did with the really garbage setup I had, because it taught me how to make a lot out of nothing. Sure. And now that I've got everything, because I've got everything that I need, I don't feel that I need to upgrade anything really.
Absolutely.
It's like now I can really get every single little bit out of everything that I've got. So I'm pretty happy with where I went. It's just I wish I was part of the community before I joined the community as a streamer.
Yeah.
Hadley,
Um,
the beard.
yeah,
Grow the
Should've started with a
earlier.
beard.
I should have started the beard earlier. You know, I should have. Yes. I don't know. That's a tough one for me, because, like Louis said, I'm that perfect example of what Louis was talking about. I was a big part of the community before I started streaming. I was a big help to a lot of people, and I befriended a lot of people before I actually started streaming on my own. So, for me, that was what got me through, like, just learning everything. Like, I'm busy working, having family life. I don't have time to really do a lot of research and stuff. I don't have a lot of time to nitpick and do things like setting up all these fancy overlays and things like that. And to this day, I still have no, like, streaming or the stream is starting soon screen. Like, I don't have, like, these fancy little things that you guys have. But I'm okay with that. Like, so I don't know. The question is hard. Like, I don't know if I really have anything that I would change, because I feel like it's helped me grow.
Sure.
So the struggles that I had in the beginning, like, kind of define me who I am right now. And if I were to change that, like, who would I be today if I changed it? So
With the beard, is that
With the beard.
yeah. So I don't know. I don't know. Like,
This is a serious question.
Bench, what about you, buddy?
I don't have no beard to do that.
That's okay. Me neither. Man.
You know, I'm
That's
hating
okay.
on you, right?
Me neither.
A little bit.
I have a little beard, says Corey. So, what about you,
For me-
Venge? Knowing everything that you know now.
Like, funny story. Like, when I first started. See, like, cause I already talked with Dino a lot about certain things, but he asked me a question like late this year, right? Like, how many megabits per second I was streaming. Right? I told him I was streaming this whole time at 9 megabits per second.
Wait, what? Say that again.
Wait,
You
how
cut
much?
off.
900 megabits.
No.
Why does every game he plays look like Minecraft? Streamer, stop streaming Minecraft. I'm not playing Minecraft.
If you want to know, the funny thing about that was that's not the thing that really generated a lot of struggle for me, surprisingly. Like, that's not really, like, this whole time, and I got as far as I did, I was really impressed with how I did things. But the one thing that I most definitely would have fixed, because this was driving me crazy, was that, like, sync my audio more properly.
That's a big
God.
Elgato issue.
Oh, good thing I didn't buy Elgato.
Well, the new ones are good with it now, but yeah, no.
Right. Right.
That's why I went with Razer as well.
Yep.
Right.
Laser,
So
baby.
people, like, there was always that one person.
Oh, yeah.
Always that one person, like, your audio, like, on cam is out of sync. I'm like, what are you talking about? It's fine, right? Like, I would say, like, what? Really? And then I look back at the stream, I'm like, oh, that's what it is. So I spent so many times on the computer, like, okay, I'm going to figure this out. I do it for 30 minutes. Oh, that's all you gotta do? I do it. Hey, no, I corrected it this time. Still wrong. Dang it. And that happened so many times.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Like, I didn't fix it until, what, last week? Last week, I was streaming like that all this time. So now people can stop saying that.
Well, and I'll admit,
Streaming for like 3 years. Finally fixed it.
finally fixed it. I'll admit, I did photography for 10 years. I was the sound engineer for my band for, what, 14 years that we played Rigo?
Yeah, 14, 15.
So sound and imaging really irks me. So I'd be one of those people going, your sound is off. Your lighting is weird. Fix your green screen, because it bugs me. But it's because I've done it for so long, right? So like for me, lighting is really important, and like it bugs me that I can see the reflection in my glasses, and I'm always fiddling with my lights. And with sound, I'm always like trying to make sure that everything, the levels are right. You can watch one of my streams, and I'll ask at least 5 times, "Hey guys, does it sound okay?"
Right.
Sound okay?
Same thing.
But yeah, no, I totally get it. When something goes wrong, people point it out. People point it out big time.
Well, you would think actually they don't always. It's really weird.
So yeah, there's just certain things they won't.
I'll be like half an hour into a stream, and I'll be like, "So this has been off for like 40 minutes," and I'm like, or like I did that VR stream of The Exorcist. Oh, by the way,
that game is awesome.
And I had recorded a video the day before, so my audio tracks were separated.
Yeah,
as I do for videos. I forgot to put them back together. So all people were getting was my voice. And so nobody was like, "Oh, there's no game audio." So I'm screaming. I'm like, "Oh God, did y'all hear? Oh God," and eventually people are like, "No, we didn't hear anything." And I'm like, "What are you talking about? We're like 40 minutes into the stream now." They're like, "Oh, we just thought it was quiet." I'm like, "But you wouldn't have told me that?" Like,
yeah. Well, the funny thing is that actually that exact thing happened to me a few days ago. I went to go raid Chadley. And instead of pushing my raid button on my stream deck, I pressed my goodbye button, and then I hit my raid button. But I've got it set up that when I hit goodbye, it mutes my microphone, and it mutes my output, so you guys don't hear who I've raided anymore. You don't hear my microphone. But when I press the raid button, it doesn't turn my microphone back on. So I'm talking to them, and I'm like, Chadley's celebrating 1 year, guys. I want you guys to come with me on this raid, and blah, blah, blah. And I'm giving them the whole spiel. I give them the links, and nobody raided. And I'm like, "Sorry, Chadley, nobody came on the raid. Like, it was, I'm sorry, man." He messages me later on. He goes, "You had no audio." And I was like, "Oh, nobody said a thing. I had like 15 people watching. Nobody mentioned my microphone was off."
Right? Thought you were miming.
Yeah.
But they'll point out little things. They'll point out little things.
Oh, yeah.
What's that weird little line on your screen? It's like, really? You ignore the microphone?
It's one
You go like
pixel
this.
tall and 2
You go like this.
Yeah.
Why don't you use a green screen? Because I have all the
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, Venge. I always go to your streams and I just see the green screen behind you. When are you gonna use it?
It's set up. Why don't you use it?
It took me a long time to use it too.
Yeah. Oh, that oh my God, that's funny. No, if I could change one thing, it would be being more I know, Venge, alright. Being more what's the word? Active in the community. Knowing what I know now with all the community. Because like everybody we're one giant family, right? Everybody knows everybody. And it comes down to a circle, and it's so nice. I've seen the results. I've seen people who were like, "I'm gonna start streaming for the first time," and all of a sudden you go to their stream, it's their first stream, and they have like 50 people watching them.
Oh
and it's
God,
like,
I hate it.
What?
It kills me.
I know.
Oh,
And I'd be like, wow, if I would have done that, like if I would have communicated more and done all that, I could have started off that way. I mean, I'm not regretting it the way I started, because I started from I get to appreciate it more.
Started from the bottom. Now we're here.
Now we're here.
Yeah, and we talk about that with Rigo, where it's like they're gonna be shocked when they see the number that they get and then the number they end up with down the road.
Yeah.
Whereas like him and I started with nobody. Like there were streams where it was like one of the ones that I'd be waiting for my brother, and it would be like a 7-hour stream, and at the end 3 views, and they were mine because I refreshed the page.
Oh geez.
And it was like, man, like that's horrible. But now, like I was saying earlier, where it's people are, you used to get 60, now you only have 15. Well, I appreciate the 15.
The 15 is still awesome. They're here.
Yeah, and it's like, and it's always the same 15, because I go to my brother, I'm like, I'll watch one streamer and they'll have 15 to 20 people all the time, and they end up with 300 views at the end of the stream. I have 15 to 20 all the time, and I end up with 150. But it's because those 15 are consistent.
Or the same
they
people
sit.
hanging out.
Yeah. So to me, I appreciate that, because I know they're there to hang out with me, and I know, like, I can guarantee that I'm going to see Corey at least once in my stream for at least 10 minutes.
I try so hard.
So it's like, I know he's always there.
So far.
But at the end, it doesn't even matter, Corey. But it's like, you have those people that you can count on. So to me, it kills me when I see, like, it's their first stream and they got 50 people, and my first stream I had 0. But at the same time, it's like at the end, I've got those 15 that I can rely on night and day, and they will be there whether they're there for 5 minutes or they're there for the whole stream. Just that 5 minutes means everything to me. So starting at 0 made me appreciate that way more.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I feel that 100%.
So Venge, what about you, buddy? Like, do you feel that the community is like our community, this right now, what we have,
Right.
is something super incredible that you wish that you would have right away jumped into it? Like, that's what I feel. Like, I felt that if I would have known this community from the beginning, I mean, I don't know where I would be. That's all I'm saying. Like, not that I regret doing it the way I did it, but I'm just saying I wish I would have dedicated more time on YouTube and dedicating the time to meet this community, because, I mean,
Yes.
we got one heck of a community.
We do.
I know.
I couldn't ask for a better community, honestly.
Wouldn't trade it for all the subs in the world, man.
Well, I've been streaming
Right?
I've been streaming on Mixer, and the community's so different there.
Same
Like-
thing with Twitch.
Yeah, I'm getting close to 100 followers now on Mixer. I've never been rated.
Hey.
Yeah, I've never been rated. On YouTube, I was rated by the time I had 30.
Right. Yeah.
And so
Right.
it's like it's different, and there's no Nintendo community there. So like I'll go in and I'll look for Nintendo stuff at nothing. There's nobody, and I'll go in
It's
and I'll try to
also a
talk.
new. It's a pretty new platform. Also,
It is.
It's the-
But it just seems it's right now it's very everyone for themselves. I don't
Yeah.
see that built community like I do here.
Yeah.
well, even on Twitch, Twitch has communities
Mhm.
built into the platform, which is great. I've never felt the same kind of like at-home community feel on Twitch as I do, here. Like,
Yeah.
it's. What are you pointing at?
See, you just hit something. You just reminded me of something so big. What you just said, especially since I, do Twitch on the side as well as a precaution in case something outrageous happens. If you was the all right, let's take Mario Maker, right? I know it's that game that drives everybody nuts, but like if you look at the communities of both Maker on YouTube versus Twitch, they are two completely different monsters.
So, go on, sorry.
Because when you look at like YouTube, for example, it's kind of a bit more casual. Whereas when you go on the Twitch side, I've had a long, in-depth conversation with a person on the Twitch side of Mario Maker. Now, I wanted, even though I wasn't a fan of the idea of engaging in discussion like that, but I really wanted to see how the Twitch side of things is like when it comes to Maker.
Yeah.
So freaking different. Those people like take their levels so freaking
Kaizo
seriously.
freaking masters. So I got rated on Twitch the other night, right? Only time I ever get rated on Twitch typically is like from Ras. Like Ras will raid me on Twitch when he's finished the stream, which is great. I love it. But so I got rated on Twitch, and it was a dude. He brought like 14 people, which is great. I was like, holy crap! I don't think I've ever had 14 people watch on Twitch. And I was like, so what were you playing? And he's like, oh, I was playing Mario Maker. I was like, oh, great. And he's like, the levels were pretty cool and all. He's like, can I submit you some levels? I was like, yeah. He goes, so you like Kaizo, right? And I'm like, no, like I'm horrible at Kaizo. And he's like, what? And he's like, well, he's okay. He's like, wait, you must be streaming on YouTube also, huh? I'm like, yeah. Because the thing was, first of all, he saw my chat is way more active in YouTube. He saw more chat that wasn't coming from Twitch. And when I told him I don't do Kaizo, he automatically knew, right? He's like, well, this dude is streaming on Twitch, but he doesn't do Kaizo. And I was like, what do you mean? And he's like, the Twitch community for Mario Maker is basically all Kaizo. And I was like, I was like, that makes sense though, because the stragglers that I'll get coming in every now and then on Twitch and sending me levels, other than the few actual regulars that I have on Twitch for Mario Maker, but the ones that'll find me every now and then will submit me levels that are way too low for my clearance level, or they're Kaizo. And I'm like, well, that makes sense now. Like that the Twitch communities for Mario Maker are basically all about being serious, which is something I've known anyway, because in general, the Twitch communities for every game are like more hardcore. than the YouTube
Yeah,
people are.
it seems it's more competitive.
Yeah, maybe
Whereas-
that's the word, competitive.
Yeah, YouTube is more like let's hang out and play. Twitch
Yeah,
is
or
more
like,
like
let's chill.
watch me be awesome at this.
Well, but that's also because I mean, when you look at all the competitive, like esports and all the like just everything competitive in general, it's all hosted on Twitch. So
Yeah.
Twitch has kind of become the home for that, even if you're just on your own doing it, you know.
Mhm.
Yep.
So yes, it makes sense now. But I really hadn't thought about that. That it's all Kaizo people, and he was like, "Oh, well, I've got some, better, easier levels," and I was like, "Oh, cool."
All right, boys. Well, that's the end of that. I hope everybody enjoyed what we had to say. We should go on a raid. We have 36 people
I
watching.
was just about to say we're still holding strong at 30.
We need to have some good
So,
people.
Let's see. We need to go on a raid, and I don't know who we can raid. What do you guys want to watch? Like, there's so many people online right now.
We should raid somebody who's got like 1 or 2 viewers. Is my biggest
Okay.
thing. We
All
got
right.
a ton of people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So I have 2 people here who only have 2 viewers right now. The first one is playing Persona 5.
Okay.
Right, and he's part of the community as well. And the
Yep.
second person, he is playing. Hold on, give me 2 seconds. He only has 2 people watching, and he's playing Kingdom Hearts.
Kingdom
Birth by
Hearts,
Sleep.
yeah.
I got a person playing with only one person watching. He's playing some Octopath Traveler.
What do you guys want to watch? Okay,
Yeah, what do you guys want? You tell
Octopath, Kingdom Hearts, or Persona 5.
I'm seeing. They're all.
Persona 5,
they're all
Kingdom Hearts.
RPGs.
I'm seeing a lot of Kingdom Hearts.
I see a lot of
That's
Kingdom
perfect.
Hearts. Okay, perfect.
Perfect.
All right, let me grab my
Just thought I would
brother
throw it
here.
out there just in case.
What kind of hashtag are we gonna use?
What should we use, guys? TacoCast? I don't know. Hashtag.
Is it somebody who's gonna know?
No,
who
somebody who's
TacoCast is?
somebody's gonna know. Like he subscribed to me, but I don't know if he. Oh, what do we use? Help me, help me. TacoCast raid.
Yeah, I guess
TacoCast
TacoCast raid.
mean,
Okay.
Do that sometime.
because it's not like a normal time where if there was a bunch of like combined hashtags or something.
Exactly.
It's just me.
All right,
Yeah, it's
we're-
Duck Venge CC, right?
Yeah, exactly.
No, guys,
We're gonna
That's gonna be way too complicated.
we're gonna raid Hero.
Okay.
Yeah, Hero. He's a little bit not family friendly, but he's super cool, and I think he deserves all our love. So let's go ahead and raid him. Let me grab the link here. We're gonna use TacoCast raid. So here's his link. Let's do it, guys. Let's give this guy a nice raid.
Heck yeah.
Take Taco
Tear it up.
Cast raid.
Yeah, that is true.
Come on, guys. There's like 37 of us. Let's do it. Let's just go at it.
Yeah, let's make it an epic raid,
I
guys.
want to
Let's
see
make
at
it
the very
epic.
least like 20, 25 of us come out.
That's
If
what
they
I
all
wanna see.
36, don't
Let's
get
get
me
in
wrong,
there.
but-
Boom.
Dude, there we go.
Oh
there
my!
we
Look
go.
at 15. There we go.
Wow.
Oh, my dude.
I'll take
Scared
it.
Wow.
freaking up.
Up to 18.
Listen.
We are being
21.
rated by the one and only
No, he knows it's you.
That's it.
Raid. Oh, snap.
Listen to that
Oh,
excitement.
that's a
Listen to
lot
that
of people.
excitement.
Wow. Oh, shit. Oh, snap. 20. Oh, man.
Excited.
Listen to that.
Oh, man. I don't.
Hit those likes, though, guys. Hit those
Yeah.
Yeah,
likes.
seriously, guys. Hit that like.
Raiders,
Subscribe if you
hit
like.
that like button. Listen to that love.
Oh, man.
That's what rating's about.
That's what rating's about, guys. That's it.
Oh, man. I am.
This is what I like to see.
I am.
That's what this YouTube community is about.
Dude, you guys you would swear this is a DGR raid right now.
Right? Yeah, I know,
I'm so excited. I love
right?
that.
Everybody, thank you all for
Oh
joining
my
us today.
God.
I hope you enjoyed our podcast. We will see you next month when we figure out whether Chadley should shave or not. No, I'm only kidding. No, but thank you all for joining us today. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Please don't forget to hit
Bye,
those
guys.
like buttons. Hit that sub button, hit that like button. Also, don't forget to sub to all these beautiful streamers around me. Pichu, 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 pichu. And guys, thank you all very much for the love. Take care, have a good one, and don't forget the most important thing in the whole wide world, guys. Come to my live stream. I'm super famous. Take care, guys. Bye.
Bye.
Have you seen that?